we're certainly playing better hockey than we were a week ago. The effort's there from the group, and now it's just for us, we got to swing the tide in the right direction for us when we get those opportunities and we're in these tight games. We got to feel more comfortable, and we got to start winning these games and finding ways to win.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, 203. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. You heard Drew Bannister in the open. Blues fall again last night to the Minnesota Wilds. Another third period that went sideways on the Blues, guys. Jamie, your thoughts on the game last night and how everything unfolded?
Yeah, I thought the Blues had a pretty good game. I mean, if you look at the entire game and you watch it, they're right there with the Wild, which is one of the best teams in their division, one of the best teams in the conference. Only have 3 regulation losses all year. And your shots on goal were right there with them. Your chances were right there with them. The scoreboard, you're right there with them until there's a shot that goes off of Nathan Walker's butt and deflects and beats Jordan Binnington. Apart from that, you're probably going to overtime. I thought Robert Thomas had a good game. I thought that, you can tell he brings an extra layer to that team. The power play, coincidence or not, scores last night. Robert Thomas gets an assist on the power play. So that's helpful as well. Scott Perunovich looks like he's developing some confidence, playing better hockey. Gets a pass last night from Jordan Kyrou and absolutely roof daddies it right up under the bar for his second goal of the year and his second goal in the last handful of games.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things that are positive about the Blues. The negative is as well, they still lost. So I don't know how to change that. Like, they still lost. So you have to find a way as a team to start winning games. And you're starting to get some guys back. You get Thomas back for last night. Drew Bannister talked about getting back Broberg, hopefully earlier than they expected. Leddy is skating, Broberg's skating. So this team could look a lot different in the next 7 to 10 days, to where if they can tread water, said that before, you hold yourself at least close enough to being in a playoff race, we'll say.
What are the Blues doing that the Cardinals are not doing when it comes to getting players back before their expected time?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a question for the medical staff.
They're doing a really good job.
Yeah, I know the Blues, obviously, with the head trainer there at Ray Barilli. I mean, he's been doing it forever. He was my trainer when I was here, so been a long time for good old Ray. He knows a thing or two. So him and his staff and the doctors and, some players like Robert Thomas taking it upon themselves to go find specialists for whatever their injury is. Robert Thomas went up to Toronto for, a week to 10 days and did some work up there, came back. He was ahead of time. So, I think it's the team that's investing in their resources to help the players. And I think it's the players that are investing in themselves, too, to go find specific things that can help them get back from injuries.
Jamie, I'm not being facetious when I ask this question. I'm really not.
Boy, Carey, here it comes.
When you're a part of a hockey organization, you're part of a team. I don't care if it's a great team, if it's a horrible team, if it's an average team, if it's a young team, a veteran team. Do you guys go over kind of the game plan in terms of, look, guys, this is how we're going to win tonight's game. Here are the elements. Here's the elements. Here's the matchup, but then this is how we plan to win tonight's game. Like, is it on a game-by-game basis? Is it covered in practice? Is there some sort of element to that?
So, football guy, right? Football guy here to my right, / hockey guy.
Yeah.
No disrespect,
I appreciate it.
Football's very different. You have one game to prepare for every week, and it's a specific opponent. One opponent, one game plan.
Sure.
It doesn't work that way in hockey. In hockey, you're focused more on internally, our systems. How do we play the game? How are we successful? And then as you get to the team that you're playing, whether it's a day before or even day of, if it's back-to-back, now you go over their tendencies. And exactly, the pre-scout, here's how they forecheck, here's what they do on their set breakout, here's the power play, you see the video. That's the preparation. So there's less time to prepare for an opponent to where you'd be like, we're specifically practicing for this opponent.
Yeah.
You do that in the playoffs because you get the same opponent over and over and over. Whether you win 4 or lose 4, it's the same opponent. So in hockey, it's way more focused on your team. This is why they talk about we have to play our brand of hockey. We have to play our system. We have to get to our forecheck, because these are things that you feel like make you competitive on a nightly basis in the NHL. So that's the huge difference between football and hockey, is that the preparation, you have a much smaller window to prepare for your opponent.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, in football, you run the play, there's a tackle, there's a whistle, everybody gets a set, reset, it's the next play. In hockey, you make a bad pass, there's a turnover, they don't blow the whistle, everybody stop, give the other team the puck, and it's fluid all the time, not fast lane fluid. Sometimes.
They should change that rule, Jamie. You turn the puck over, you should stop, have a face-off, and have to
it might have helped a few times this year. Might have helped. But yeah, so that's the only thing, is hockey's in continuous motion, so specific things are difficult to accomplish.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked that is you're right. Look, you can play well, you can have the effort, you can have the shots, statistically you can play well in a certain game, and then you look at the final score. If it's still a loss, it's a loss. So the reason why I asked that is you've had some third periods that have gone sideways on you.
Name one.
Last night, the Boston.
That's not fair,
Boston
Anthony.
Game.
Went off a guy's butt, Anthony.
I do, and I'm simplifying things greatly. But I just wonder if there's an element of, look, guys, this is how we win games. And this Blues team, I don't care how many veterans they have, how many young players they have, but this one collectively hasn't figured out yet how it's going to win games. Consistently.
I would agree with that, but I have to go back to the obvious. You also don't have the roster that you thought you were going to have. Like if this team was still making these mistakes and falling short when they had Thomas last night, but his first game back. If they had Leddy and Broberg in their lineup, it's a massive difference. It just is. When you can roll out Leddy, Parayko, Broberg, Falk, and then Suter, who, I mean, maybe he's the guy. Maybe it's Suter, Parayko, Broberg, Falk, Leddy, and Kessel. When you can roll out those 6 guys on a regular basis, life changes. You don't have the breakdown maybe in the third. Maybe that puck that got to Brodin or whatever last night, maybe it doesn't get to him. Maybe there's a defenseman fronting him. Maybe the puck's broken out before that. So as much as it is an excuse, but it's also a fact in the same breath. So you have a team right now, like you've got Corey Schooneman. I'm sorry, if you polled 100 Blues fans before he played up, who's Corey Schooneman? Well, they might have known from training camp because he had pretty training, but where did he play last year?
St. Charles Chill.
No, I would have taken him, though. I would have taken him. Damn right. Guy's a pretty good player.
I think they just, I said this before, when you are losing, you find ways to lose, and bad things happen. You talk about Nathan Walker, the puck going off of his butt. Like that, it's not intentional. It's a mistake.
No, he's
You're trying to make
the right
a play. Correct.
It just got... It went sideways.
Bad luck happens. Like when when you're winning, for some odd reason, I don't know what it is in the universe, things like that don't happen. Like it's a clean shot.
That would bounce off his butt and then hit the post.
Exactly. And then it'd be a breakout the other way. You'd be off and running and you'd score.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, right now, they are not finding the breaks. And I think at some point you have to make your own breaks. Like you have to continue to force the issue, continue to press, play as well as you can until you get to that point where you're not the one making the mistake, or you're not the one turning the puck over and now they're going the other direction. Like you have to be, I think when you're missing players or when you have missed players, you have to be more dialed in than when you have your better players on the ice or on the field or wherever. You just have to be more in tune into the details, and sometimes the details slip, and sometimes mistakes happen and you end up losing games. And I think that's where they are right now.
Should we use the same logic that we use with the football games when I complain about the refs blowing it at the end of the game? We say, well, that team didn't lose on that one specific play.
Yeah.
Should we use the same logic as it pertains to the Blues, or is it different? Because there's multiple chances that the Blues could put the puck in the back of the net, or just simple things throughout a full 60. Like, should we continue to use that same logic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that applies to all sports. You have 60 minutes. So what do you do with those 60 minutes? If one thing goes against you, what did you do in the other 59 minutes? I know, March, I think it's a good point. And there's more opportunities because there's more games to have things like that go against you. I tend to think that whether it's football, hockey, or basketball or baseball, those instances kind of even out by the end of the year. I don't think one team is more lucky, or unless it's the Chiefs.
Oh, wow.
No, just kidding. Not this past week.
Good luck getting on the bandwagon this year.
I know. They didn't want me on last year.
No, they didn't.
I do think that, I'm kidding. There is the tendency for everything to just even out. But we as fans, it's one of those, what are they called? It's a bias, but there's something.
Prisoner of the moment?
No.
Rose-colored
fallacy.
glasses. Huh.
It's a fallacy because we're only watching our team. We think that our team is unlucky.
I know what that word means.
Yeah.
I know what it means. I just didn't think that's the word you were looking for.
It's one of the fallacies. There's a bunch of fallacies, but there's one of them. I don't know if it's cognitive bias or something. You're trying to look for things to support your
claim. Give me a synonym.
A synonym?
Yeah, of fallacy.
A fallacy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Because I figured that whatever that word is probably used more.
There are several fallacies. There are many fallacies.
It's a belief.
There's a mystery of fallacies.
A fallacy, a belief?
No, there's certain things that fall under it. Is how we think.
Yeah.
So we
thought process.
It's kind of like when we catch a red light, right? We're like, I'm always stopped by red lights. You're not.
It
feels
the things
that way
you
to
think of are the things you notice more.
Now, when you see a red light, for you, is it a automatic stop or is it just a suggestion?
Kids in the car, no.
No, it doesn't matter.
Suggestion.
No,
Okay.
yellow
Red light
is
or
a
yellow
suggestion.
light?
So I got to be honest.
Red means
right.
if you're listening, the fast lane says you should stop.
Yes,
at
absolutely.
a red light and a stop sign.
Yes, and you should slow down at a yellow light.
Yes.
And I have to clarify this because my daughter, who's 15, who has her driver's permit now, the first week that she was driving, every time we'd come up to a light and it would turn yellow, she'd hammer the gas. No, hang on. And get through. And I finally go, hey, that means like come
Caution.
to a stop.
Yeah.
Like at 15 and 16, until you're like my age, that means slow down and come to a stop. She goes, oh, I didn't know, Dad. She goes, I just thought because every time there's a yellow light, you hammer the gas. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Now I find myself driving like super defensively when she's in the car because
That's good.
I'm leading by example.
That's right. You're modeling the behavior. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We do have Drew Bannister coming up at 3:30. We'll talk to the head coach. We didn't call him last week, I guess.
That's my bad. We were on the road, and my schedule was kind of wonky last week. It was like on for an hour and then off, and then so my bad. I'll make up for it. I'll buy you guys
So
lunch
he'll be
or
on for
something.
30 minutes today?
That would be awesome. Hey, Coach, by the way, we missed you last week. Happy that you can join us for 30 here today.
2 segments.
Sure be happy to do that. All right.
He'd probably be fine, and then at the first commercial break, text me, what the hell is going on?
All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Last night, we saw the new college football rankings. Did anything surprise us? That's next.
Anthony, I was over at Centene Community Ice Center, and one of the people who works there, just a great dude, came up to me and says, hey, man, I got a question for you. And I was like, I had no idea. I thought he was going to ask me about the Blues.
Yep.
Nope, asking me about mentality. He said, hey, man, does that stuff really work? And I love when people ask me that because we together can be two of the biggest advocates for it. And so I explained the whole process to him about talking to them and then the blood draw and everything. Set him up with Angel down there at Mentality. He's going to head in and go have his consultation and hopefully get on the program. But you and I both know that it works, and I love telling people about it.
Jamie, I've actually thought a lot about Mentality. I went in there yesterday, and I was trying to think of ways that guys might not want to go in there. Well, okay, maybe it's too expensive. Most insurances cover it. maybe it's dangerous. They actually monitor my blood and my health better than I would if I wasn't going in. Every 10 weeks, in fact, they recheck my blood to make sure there's nothing going on. So it's healthy, right? It's safe. Okay, what else? Am I going to feel worse when it's all said? No, you feel great when it's all said and done. Higher energy, higher drive, higher everything, right? You feel like you would 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. So I'm trying to think of reasons not to go down there. There really aren't.
There's none.
Just go in, talk to their board-certified physicians about how they can help you, just like they help Jamie and I. Mention Jamie and I, in fact. They'll tell you flat out. They see us every week.
And they might hook you up a little something, too.
Absolutely. So drop our names. It's Mentality. You can also visit them online, lowtusa.com. Again, if you want to feel like yourself again, head down to Mentality. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Talking about Bet the Board.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your fire-up chips again.
Oh, they won outright, though.
That's the 6:15 segment.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that at 6:15 today.
Yeah. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Fastlane on 2 to 6, special segment with me, 6:15. Let's talk about how the committee is just afraid to put in Central Michigan.
What do we have at 6 o'clock today?
Blues Instant Replay.
I think Blues Instant Replay should start at 6:15. And Anthony, I think we should let you have a segment to talk about MACtion.
Thank you. As I texted you guys last night, Indiana has never won on MACtion.
Oh, God.
That's a fact.
This is true.
They've never won
because they
a
aren't
MACtion
in
game.
the MAC. They
On a
don't play
Tuesday
on
night.
Tuesdays.
They might want to be up for Ohio State.
I'm just talking about facts right now, you know?
You're not wrong.
CMU beat its biggest rival last night outright as a dog.
How good do you feel?
I feel great. Now I'm a little disappointed
Did you
that
watch
the committee.
the game?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You're
Yes,
lying.
I did.
I
Well,
text Kristen. She says he's not watching the game.
Here's the thing.
No, he was watching the Cavs beat the Celtics.
I got to watch
Lose
the
to
Blues.
the
I'm watching the
Celtics,
Blues. I'm keeping an eye on that one. because Carey went full spite mode on Bet the Board.
Man,
Did you win, Carey?
No.
Oh, that's
I only did it because he made me mad.
He was so ticked at me because I took the Cavs. Anyways, and I was watching. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna blow this. And they didn't. Anyways, so the committee came out with their rankings last night. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana at 5, Notre Dame at 6, Alabama at 7, Miami 8, Ole Miss 9, Georgia 10, Tennessee 11, Boise State 12. Any surprises for you guys? Any legit surprises?
No.
Any gripes?
Well, Penn State. Oh, not. Sorry, I'm thinking of BYU.
Yeah, BYU suffered the biggest drop as they should. They went to 14.
I said this. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to think out loud. Go ahead.
I said this yesterday. Ole Miss has probably the worst loss of all the SEC teams, and Tennessee right now is out. Like they lost to Georgia, and they lost to Arkansas. But Kentucky is a worse team in my opinion than Arkansas, and that's who beat Ole Miss. And so I think that it's going to be frustrating for some Vols fans, and I don't think that the SEC should get 5 teams in. I think that the number is correct. But, again, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas is fine. They've done their thing. Tennessee being out, it's going to be some people that are upset about that.
So let me ask you guys this. Carey, I think I know your opinion of this.
Indiana's in.
No, I'm not going there today. Okay. You almost cried yesterday. I don't want to go there again.
I was a little frustrated.
he was like my brother when he used to get mad when he was a kid. He gets so mad he'd cry. Like rage. Yeah. Where I was going to go and try to be neutral on this. Let's again take the conference out of this. The SEC, Big Ten. It doesn't matter to me. I am going to focus on 3 SEC teams, but mostly the teams, not the conference. Or 4, rather. Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, that are sitting right there, hovering in and around the playoff. Alabama, the highest ranked at 7. The SEC championship game will have somebody go to 3 losses. Mm-hmm. So let's say Alabama. Next week they go up a tick. Maybe Indiana, if they lose big, they drop. Maybe there's a little shuffle there. Indiana's now 7th. Maybe Alabama's 5th. If Alabama loses in the SEC championship game, can they still get in the playoff? Because they're one of the best teams from the SEC.
I think they could. I think they're done if they get another loss.
So
I
you think
it'd be very
if Ole
difficult.
Miss, Georgia, and Alabama all lose one more game, they're all out?
If you lose 3 games, you shouldn't be in the playoff in the college football.
But this brings me back to my original argument. Then
it just depends on who's behind them.
Those teams are better.
Texas can lose. They only have 1 loss. If they lose in the SEC championship game, I think they're fine because where they are right now.
Yeah, but you're basing it just on a number.
And you're not even so. And right now, I think Texas A&M is ahead of all of those guys based on conference record. They are higher. So it would be Texas and Texas A&M in the right now in the SEC championship game.
But I guess I just have trouble.
They'll obviously,
yes,
because they play.
They play each other next week or this week.
I think it's next weekend.
Next weekend,
I think so.
But I guess I just have trouble automatically eliminating a team based on a number, right? And hear me out. The number is 3 losses. I get it. I got 3 losses, you're out. But what if they're a better team?
How?
What?
Because they went to the conference championship game.
No, but I'm not doing the conference. I'm saying let's eliminate the conference. Let's go. Let's say Alabama. You don't think Alabama's better than Notre Dame and like some of these other Miami? And
Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. So no,
Carey,
hold on. Go ahead, Carey.
I feel like nobody's grasping my point.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you're going off the premise that because it's Alabama, they can't be beaten. They can.
It could be
they
team
lost
X. It doesn't matter to me.
And if that team X lost to Vanderbilt, I would say they shouldn't be.
So what about Georgia then?
If Georgia has some of the best losses on their roster, they lost.
But if they lose again, they're out. According to
probably, yeah.
But I think Georgia could actually win the damn thing.
So Jamie, this is how I do grasp what you're saying. I think you're right in that Alabama. Let's just say they lose another game. I think Alabama would be better than some of the teams that do get in. I think there's really no debate there. But you can't minimize the regular season in the process.
No,
that would be my viewpoint.
I agree. I just the committee before used to pick the 4 best teams.
Right.
And now they're supposed to pick, like there's automatics. You win your conference, you're in. Okay, you get the bye week, the home game, all that. You should be rewarded. I totally support that. But then just because a team had a stumble in 1 week doesn't mean that team isn't better than one or two other teams. Like,
Sure.
I look at it, the betting, right? If I was betting and I had a game tomorrow between Alabama and Notre Dame, I'd put my money on Alabama.
Sure.
Yet Notre Dame is going to get into this damn playoff regardless.
Not if they lose to Army, they won't.
Yeah, Marsh. Now you're thinking, but
Maybe,
I do think the resume you have to have the regular season mean something. I completely understand what you're saying, but if you
do we want the best playoff or not?
I do, but I want the best playoff based on the regular season. It's the Florida State argument from a year ago.
But that was way more. That was way different for me because you lost your best player.
Which I completely agree with.
And I disagreed because they were a team that hadn't lost.
They weren't anything, obviously, without that quarterback. It was proven.
But they do in the bowl game.
We're not talking
Against
about
Georgia's backups.
We're not talking about bowl games.
That was nasty.
We're not talking about bowl games.
And not Fastlane nasty.
Pumpernickeled.
That's not. Yeah, that's not. That's
Which
good
is
bread.
a German bread.
Yeah, sourdough bread. I think. I don't remember.
That's random.
No,
Thank you.
it was.
I appreciate that.
It was pumpernickel.
Yeah, sourdough bread.
Yeah,
No.
Satan's fart or something.
Yeah.
What
Like
the
a
hell
devil's
are
fart?
you guys talking about?
Random trivia.
Random
was one of
trivia,
the
yeah.
questions.
It was one of the
You weren't
questions.
No. I remember a sour fart, Carey.
Yeah.
I think to Jamie's point, though, and I want to bring up the college football, or I'm sorry, the conference championship game, because if Alabama, let's say we're using Alabama, for instance, if they go to the SEC championship game and lose, and they have 3 losses,
They're out.
They're out, but
They've
it's
lost
like
to a hell of a team.
But they played an extra game because they were rewarded by being better than the other teams. So why?
That's a twist.
That's why Lane Kiffin said what he said. He said going to the championship game might not even be worth it.
Exactly.
Well,
but I
wonder-
find that to be dumb.
Well, I wonder if the committee factors that in then.
Well, they could.
That's
because
my
they
point.
don't want the SEC. Well, but they don't want the SEC championship to not matter. You know what I mean? They don't want teams to feel like Lane Kiffin, where you know what? I don't want to even play in that
Because they're
game.
risking a loss.
Exactly. So I wonder if the committee will factor that in.
I think that they shouldn't factor those games in unless you win.
But even then, I think you should just leave it alone. I think they should do the college football playoff based upon the regular season because the bowl games, technically, that's playoffs. Technically, because it's a championship game. And I think those should just be left alone. That way, the 2 teams that get there have a really good chance of making it to the playoff because they both have really good records.
Right.
So right now, you'll have one team at least that'll have 2 losses in there. And who knows by the end of the season if Texas can hang on to just 1 loss. But if you had 2 teams in there, let's say it was Alabama and Georgia or Alabama and Ole Miss, both at 2 losses, one of them's going to get screwed for being good.
Yeah, probably.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm so in disagreement with everything you. Is that a word? Yeah,
Disagreement.
Disagreement with all of you, all the things that you all are talking about.
What do you mean, you people?
All of my
You
beliefs,
folks.
Carey?
Well, on this topic, Jamie.
That's insulting.
Well, this topic, and here's
I
why.
didn't see it that way.
Here's why: because you're making a case for how good teams are, but Kentucky beat Ole Miss. Kentucky is 4-6. Vanderbilt at 6-4 beat Alabama. Arkansas at 5-5 beat Tennessee. That doesn't make them like those teams aren't unbeatable.
They had a bad day, Carey. You ever have a bad day?
I'm having one right now.
Carey, can we make the same argument that just because you pistol whip Purdue doesn't make you a better team than...
Yeah, sure. Let's make that argument.
Okay.
I'm
'Cause
okay
Penn
with that.
State
I'm fine
not
with
have
that.
a strong resume.
But you can't tell me that these teams are unbeatable when they're losing to teams that are 500 or just barely above 500.
Carey, you're making the straw man. Nobody's saying that they're unbeatable.
Yeah, kind of. You're saying that they belong in because look at their record. They might have 3 losses.
Just say they're
One
better
of
than
them-
some teams.
How can you
Well,
say
because
that?
if you lined them up against that team, they'd win.
But I lined them up against. I lined Tennessee up against Arkansas, and they lost.
But what about the teams like Anthony said?
I
where they
lined Ole Miss up
absolutely-
against Kentucky. They lost. I lined Alabama up against Vanderbilt. They lost. Those are not good teams.
I know,
If
but
Alabama had Penn State's schedule, what do you think they're unbeaten?
They would be the same They would probably be.
They'd be unbeaten.
Who did Penn State lose to? Ohio State.
Ohio State.
They would probably have one loss as well, just like Penn State does. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
if you
so those
put them up
those
against,
two teams
if you
would be
flip,
even then.
if you flip the conferences, it's probably Oregon probably doesn't lose to Vanderbilt. Oregon probably doesn't lose to Kentucky.
If Penn State plays Bama's schedule, do you think they got one loss?
Bama's schedule?
Yeah, they got more than one loss for sure.
Are y'all kidding me?
Penn State's not very good. That's my point. And Alabama, to your point, Alabama's not great.
They may have one loss, or they may have two losses, which would be maybe to Georgia and maybe to Tennessee, or maybe not. That's the Alabama schedule. They beat Wisconsin because they played them. They beat South Carolina. They beat Mizzou. They beat LSU. They beat the hell out of Mercer, just like Alabama did. It's the same thing. If you flip it, they probably have two losses as well. That's all I'm saying. And if you give Alabama's Penn State schedule, they probably have one loss. So why do we assume that because, they're in the SEC, they play Arkansas is 5-5 and beat Ole Miss. Kentucky is 4-6, and beat Tennessee. Kentucky is 4-6, and they beat Ole Miss. Why do we assume that these teams are unbeatable because they play in the SEC? It's ridiculous to me.
I don't think they're unbeatable.
I'm not even saying that at all.
But I do think that
You're saying that they belong in the college football playoffs over other teams.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it depends. But it depends on who the teams are. That's always been my point. Like we get into these roundabout discussions.
Over Indiana.
I want to, and you know what? I want to see Indiana in. I think they're fun. But if they go to Columbus this weekend and lose by 40, conversation's over because you didn't play anybody this year. You had one chance, Eminem style, and you threw up on your sweater.
I think
spaghetti.
The conversation shouldn't be about Big Ten teams. It should be about the SMUs, the BYUs of the world, the teams that are just outside who only have one loss compared to an SEC team that has two losses.
But you have the committee. Okay, so put yourself in the committee's shoes, right?
Right. I'm picking the SEC school because I don't think those Big 12 schools are that good.
That's my point.
There you go.
Those are the schools that we should be talking about, not so much the Big Ten schools, because the Big Ten and the SEC
that's fair.
I feel like this discussion has just become Big Ten versus SEC.
That's all it is.
That's all it is, because Carey hates the SEC.
But I don't hate the SEC.
And he loves the Big Ten.
I do love the Big Ten.
I'm trying to blindfold all of us on the conference so that we can just evaluate the teams individually and not worry about the SEC or the Big Ten. We don't have to dig our heels in on a conference we like better.
I'm with you on that. The sad reality is the committee is not taking anything into account when it comes to action. And that's my problem. Well said. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. What's trending is next. Well, everybody knows I watch the MAC on a Tuesday and Wednesday. I also go to the MAC on a Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. When it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, I love going down there, get my workout in. A lot of times I'll head right upstairs after I get the shower done, and I'll, kind of take my laptop up to the business center. Maybe I'll go and have something to eat. They got a great buffet there at the Missouri Athletic Club. In fact, there's so many good food options, whether, my wife Chris and I will do date nights or anything like that at the Missouri Athletic Club, whether it's downtown in West Columbus. It's always great. They always got great clubs going on, especially for the families. It's a club within the club, basically. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost to the Wild last night by a final score of 4-2. They'll take on Anthony's San Jose Sharks tomorrow. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Blues head coach Drew Bannister at 3:30, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have What's Trending. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, the Blues unveiled their 2024, or 2020, I guess it's 2025, since it's being played New Year's Eve. But the Winter Classic jerseys, if you've seen them, what do you think about them?
What do you think about them?
Marshy, what do you think? I think, I mean, I may be crazy.
What do you think? Yeah.
I think I saw a tweet. I think I saw something in the text chain.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly.
Tell us what you feel, Marshy.
I'll be polite. I don't like them.
What?
I don't like them at all.
This is your Blues.
This is my Blues. I don't like them.
What's wrong with them, Marsh?
Well, one, there's no blue note on the crest. That's, to me, that's imperative. You need the blue note on the crest. I'm done with cream-colored jerseys.
Okay.
I would have liked to see like a vintage jersey that has been in the, in the organization. And personally, I would have loved to see a jersey from the 80s, because I believe that the Blues and Blackhawks rivalry was at its best in the 80s. You played the Blackhawks 5 times in the playoffs. And there's 2 different jersey sets that I really liked. It was the 84-85, which featured the name Blues with the little blue note crest under. It was the first time that the organization had Blues written on the crest. That year, you finished first place in the Norris Division. Bernie Federko, who's been a staple in the Blues organization, had 103 points. So I liked those jerseys. And then a few years ago, you had similar jerseys that got rid of the Blues and was just the blue note, and that was 87-88. And that was the first year that you defeated the Blackhawks in the playoffs, the team that you're playing in the Winter Classic.
They should have you do the jerseys next time.
Have you done any research, though?
I did. I did some research.
I think you bring up really good points about the 80s.
But like to me, that's the best era of Blues Blackhawks, 80s leading into the early 90s. And I thought being at Wrigley Field, you'd pay homage to that era.
Yeah.
Both teams are not really relevant right now in terms of the NHL and being at.
Hits just keep on coming, don't they?
Well, they're not. But I think at least this rivalry is not. This rivalry hasn't been the same since, basically since the Blackhawks fell off.
Yeah.
So I think this is a new era of Blues hockey. It's a new era of Blackhawks hockey. And as a Blues fan, I would have loved to get back to that time period. Yeah. That's just my opinion, though.
I think it is a little different that they don't have the blue note on the jersey. I know they have it on the shoulder patches, which is great. I actually like the color scheme. I like the stripe across, all that. But when I look at the Blackhawks, they've got their logo front and center, the circular one. So I pulled this up. I can't turn and show you guys this, but the logo they had, the circular one with the arch and all that. I think if you drop that in the middle of this Winter Classic jersey, now you have something that, it's like the Blackhawks and the Blues. It's the same design, but it's apples to apples.
Instead of St. Louis, it's got
the arch with the blue note, and it says St. Louis Blues on the logo. I think it's pretty cool.
I hate that logo, but there is
you hate that logo,
there is another circular logo that the Blues did use in 78, 79 through the early 80s, which has the blue note featured, and it says St. Louis. There's no arch, but it is a circular logo that's yellow. You can find all of these logos on sportslogos.net. You can find every jersey and everything.
I like that one too, Marshy. My thought process, I actually didn't go back as far as you. My thought was the circular logo looks really good on that horizontal stripe.
It would have, yeah. If they're going with like a template, that's kind of what they did. They went with like a template. Both teams have I just like, to me, and I don't really like the Wild's home uniforms either, because any team that does the stripe across, to me, that's Montreal. Like, that's the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, it's vintage.
It's very vintage. That should be their thing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Marsh, I hope for your sake that when you... No, okay, guys, I'm being serious here.
I love jerseys, so.
I know you do. I hope for your sake, while you're watching it, you had the same reaction that I did. Remember when the STL Connect, the City Connect jerseys came out?
Those were good.
And I hated them. And then I watched the team play, and I go, hey, whoever designed these hats, that's terrible. But the uniforms looked awesome. The white and the red. I was like,
it
hey,
popped.
I was wrong about the uniform. Not the hats. The hats were pure hot garbage. But the uniforms, really cool. So I hope for your sake, while you're watching this, you're like, I was wrong, and I really like this.
There's one more thing that bothers me in that.
Here we go. He's not done, guys.
The helmet is blue. It's navy blue.
What's wrong with that?
Well, the Blackhawks helmet's black, and we've had this conversation the other day about the soccer uniforms. Not that that's a big problem, but it just, to me, aesthetic-wise,
So you want a white helmet?
I'd like the helmet to match the jersey.
Yeah.
And Carolina does that now. San Jose does that now. I don't like it.
I don't like when there are different versions of the color scheme, like you're describing.
Yeah.
Like the Tennessee Titans. What do we pick a blue and go with it? They got dark blue, then dark blue on the shoulder pads, and light blue down, and then like a sky blue somewhere on the pants. Like what?
Like
why
the Dallas
did you?
Cowboys.
Yeah. Why are we opening up a box of Crayola crayons, dumping them out, and say, just pick 10 of those colors, and we'll just put it together?
I think on the helmet thing, what would have been cool for the Blues specifically, maybe even the Blackhawks might have been a little harder for the Blackhawks because their logo is a little more complex. But it has been done where teams put like their logo on the helmet. It would have been cool to have the white helmet with like an airbrushed like blue note on the side of it, like nice big, like almost like football. I think it'd be kind of neat.
Yeah,
they've done that before. Those are like stadium series jerseys, and this jersey to me, it doesn't feel like a Winter Classic jersey. It feels more in the realm of like reverse retro and/or stadium series jersey.
So, Marshy,
based on like how
can we
they've
count
done in
you
the past.
out in purchasing one?
Oh, I will not be. No,
Okay,
I'm not.
So much for his Christmas gift.
Come on. You already got me the Vikings helmet. You don't need.
Yeah, but this was from the
from all
three
of
of
us.
us. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Jamie can't just cancel
Actually, just got a text from the Blues Authentic Shop said, yeah, you can cancel that order.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, just cancel that. We'll get him something else.
I went to school to be a graphic designer, so I have the artist in me is just a little irritated. But it is, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I
didn't know you had an artist in you.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
No, just that.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
No, that he's artistic. I didn't know that. I knew you sang and did music videos. I didn't know you were.
Spent the majority of my college career as a graphic designer. Then I switched to communications, and here we are now.
You have a passion for the uniform combinations.
Absolutely.
All right, so
me and Jackson Burkett.
Yes, you guys have spirited discussions about it in the office.
I can just imagine the text thread between you two today.
We were talking about it.
Speaking of Marsh has an interesting possible comparison between Drew Bannister and Oli Marmol. That's next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and Andrew Marsh. You had a thought comparing not the two people, but the situations potentially with Drew Bannister and Oli Marmol.
Yeah, when it comes to the fans and how the fans feel, especially like let's be honest, like the Blues are not having the season I think that they would like to have, and the Cardinals definitely did not have the season that they would like to have.
They won 83 games, Marsh. I hate to remind you.
It's your problem.
It's a winning season.
So we've talked about the Blues not having their intended roster this season. I would go as far to say that the Cardinals, at least Oli Marmol, probably would have liked to have a different roster. I don't know what his opinion is on that. That's
like the Dodgers.
If I was Oli Marmol, I'd probably want a better roster.
Sure.
But, he's a younger coach. Drew Bannister, younger coach. I don't know if we're necessarily getting to see what they can do based on the roster that they currently have, whether that is the construction of it or injuries or whatever it is. I just wonder if the fans are giving Drew Bannister a fair shake right now based on what we are seeing so far from the roster that we have.
Yeah, so let's go back a year ago. Drew Bannister, interim head coach, went 38-18. That was his record.
It's pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good. Okay? He hasn't forgot how to coach. He hasn't. And where the comparison kind of dies for me between Oli and Drew Bannister is Oli had Hall of Famers on his roster. He had Nolan Arenado, or he still does, who knows. But he had Paul Goldschmidt. And let's go back even further. He had Yadier Molina. Mm-hmm. He had Adam Wainwright. He had guys. The Blues right now, they don't have a future Hall of Famer on their roster. Not yet. What is Robert Thomas at the end of his career? I don't know. Hopefully a Hall of Famer. That'd be awesome. What is Jordan Binnington at the end of his career? Maybe he's a Hall of Famer. Great. But right now you don't have that guy. We're okay, bam, that's a Hall of Famer. And I'm not saying that Arenado's an automatic, but he's got, 10 gold gloves, 6 platinum gloves, a silver slugger. He's an elite player, or was an elite player in Major League Baseball. So that's where the conversation dies for me, because Drew Bannister has been given a retooled team. It'd be like if Oli takes over the Cardinals this year coming up without Goldie, without Arenado, without Yachty, without Waino, without all those guys. Now I think the comparison is probably more legit because both teams are in similar situations.
Do you think the Cardinals, though, weren't a retool team?
But they still had those Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but they weren't good.
Yeah, but that's not all.
Well, that's my point. That's the whole point. Oli, what is he going to do? These guys weren't good.
Yeah, but
they didn't do their job.
If you plop 2 Hall of Famers on the Blues right now, it's probably going to help them an awful lot.
Aging Hall of Famers, though? You have Stanley Cup champions on your roster.
You do. Not as many as you used to.
For sure.
Those guys have moved on, but I don't know. I just look at if you had an Alex Pietrangelo, who could be in the discussion, be a Hall of Famer one day. If you had him on your blue line and you had Parayko on the right side and you had Justin Falk.
What about from a fan perspective, though? Because that's
kind of my point.
Yeah, that's from Marsh's standpoint here. I think both men have stepped in a situation where it's your roster probably isn't good enough yet. And I'm saying yet, but win, because the fans are frustrated.
Yeah, and I will say this, that their resumes are pretty similar to the fact that they're both first-time head coaches in their respective sports.
Right.
Oli had a long career in the minor leagues and doing development, coaching, working his way up. Drew Bannister, same thing. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the level of success that Oli had in the minors. I do know that Drew Bannister has had a high level of success coaching junior and American League teams.
Yeah.
I think the easiest thing to do is to blame the coaches. And I've said this time and time again. If your players do not play well, it doesn't matter who you have on the bench because they're not doing anything in terms of on the ice or on the field. The players have to do their job at a higher level. The Blues have dealt with injuries, a lot of them. And I would guarantee you that the players that are playing would tell you that's still not a good enough excuse. They
would, but the coaches may not.
I wouldn't use that as an excuse if I was playing, because I feel like it's an opportunity for other guys. It's like when
Would you
guys
felt that way if Ben Roethlisberger got hurt and you had to put Mitch Trubisky in the center?
We had to play with Charlie Batch, and so what? I expect my mindset, Charlie, come on.
You're in the NFL.
You have been preparing. That's your job.
I know.
Your job is to stay ready being ready
and being good are two different things.
They are. But you wouldn't be here if you were not good enough. And so if there was someone better, then they would have had that person on the roster instead of you. So the job is the job. You got to do it. When you lose your
best player and you replace him with half as much talent, doesn't matter how prepared that guy is.
I'm not disagreeing. I think it's harder, but I think the expectation is we still have to find a way to win. Doesn't matter who's there.
You can't sit there and say, "Oh, woe is me." I get that
because the opposing team is like, good. He's out. Better. Let's
I'm
go
looking
get
at
him.
it more from a front office standpoint. When I look down at my team, I go, "Okay, I'm missing some major pieces." Like, what's his name's doing a really good job. He's working really hard, but he's not nearly as good.
Then that would be your fault. If you're saying that from a front office perspective, because your job in the front office is to make sure that the people that are behind the guys that are starting are prepared or good enough to fill that gap.
If they were all the same level of talent, Carey, you'd have no chance of being under the salary cap.
It's still your job in the front office to find players, to find those gems, to find those guys that are slept on, that are not looked at in that manner, that you can find for less.
No matter what, you're not getting the same production.
But that's your job.
But it's not. You can't can't replace an all-star player.
You have to,
but you can't. It's unrealistic.
We will agree to disagree on that, because if somebody goes down, I can only speak.
You'd run it back with Charlie Batch.
I can only speak from. I'll speak from personal experience. James Harrison was an undrafted rookie. Joey Porter was the starting outside linebacker. You know why they felt comfortable letting Joey Porter walk? Is because James Harrison showed more than enough at that same position to say, we don't got to pay him. We got a guy that is right here that we have watched, that we have developed, that we scouted, that we brought in here, that is going to be able to take over the spot. And James Harrison did a damn good job.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's your job in the front office. James Harrison wasn't making nearly as much as a Joey Porter, but he was able to fulfill that role even better. James won a Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. Joey did not. And Joey was a hell of a player. So that's your job.
I understand, but the percentages tell me that overall you're going to have a way harder time finding a James Harrison out there.
But it's still your job.
How does that pertain to the coaches, though? Like, how do the coach, and we're talking about Drew Bannister and Oli Marmol in this situation, how do they get those players to be what you're saying, Carey? How do you find your James Harrison? Like,
you got to develop them. You got to recruit. Evaluate. You got to develop, and
there's got to be some luck.
That is not wrong.
You can find any player that works his ass off, wants to get better. You could have the best development team in the world,
but you also draft them, because, like I said, we had our two outside linebackers were Clark Hagans and Joey Porter. And then James Harrison was an undrafted rookie. He had been there killing it on special teams, got him. Then they drafted Lamar Woodley. So now you got two of these guys to fill those roles for the guys that were just there. The two starters you had, Clark went to Arizona, Joey went to Miami. We got two more guys to come in and play at a high level and help us win games. That's your job in the front office. It's not to hope and wish. It's not to sit there and say, I got Joey Porter and I got Clark. We're good. I don't need to look for anything else. No, your job is to find his replacement while he's still playing well. That's the nature of the job. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to have success.
I think you're simplifying it. So I don't disagree with what you're saying if we isolate specific players. Like, it'd be easy to say, well, Trent Green went down and Kurt Warner stepped in.
Yeah.
But how many...
Exception to the rule.
But I think yours is too a little bit. Because you got lucky with James Harrison, who was undrafted. So obviously, even the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't think enough of him to draft him. But he rose to the top.
You had Charlie Batch as a backup?
Yeah.
You had two MAC quarterbacks. It's no wonder why you won the Super Bowl, CD. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We'll play a very quick Are You Sold? So if you've got an Are You Sold statement that you want to send to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, send it there. We'll play Are You Sold next. Happy Roof Company should be your first call if you're dealing with any sort of leak with your roof, because they will have somebody to look at your issue within 24 hours of when you call. 314-665-3001. Happy Roof Company, they've got superior high-end products. In fact, they only use superior high-end products. They have over 50 years combined experience in roofing, siding, and gutters. They don't chase storms. 100% of their market is in St. Louis and the surrounding areas. Their headquarters is located right there in Sunset Hills. So you know when they give you that 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, you're going to feel covered for the entirety of that warranty. They've got financing options available. So if you are dealing with a situation where you don't have an insurance claim, you have to replace the roof yourself on your cost. Again, they've got financing options. They have great relationships with realtors. If you are selling your home and you're wanting to upgrade that home and maybe upsell it and get a new roof, again, great relationships with realtors. And the Happy Roof Company's got the A+ rating with the BBB, as well as that up-to-date product knowledge. Call them 314-665-3001, thehappyroof.com. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's the Happy Roof Company. All right, time for Are You Sold here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 307. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Go ahead, Marsh.
All right, let's start off with the 4-2-3. Are you sold on Jamie's Lions being the favorite to win the NFC?
Oh, absolutely.
I am. Yeah, I don't see how you can't be. Quite honestly, who else in the NFC compares right now? Like
There's nobody.
Going into the season, the easy argument was the 49ers. I thought we were going to have a rematch there in the NFC Championship, but no other team, at least not yet, has shown that they have the ability to just blow a game wide open like the Lions can.
There's no other team. I have gone as far to say over the last week, there's no excuse for the Lions unless they suffered some sort of, and even after losing Hutchinson, I still feel this way. But if they suffer,
the guys step up, Anthony.
Absolutely.
And he broke his forearm.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be.
If they lose Jared Goff, that might be a little challenging. Other than that, they have no excuse not to represent the NFC in the championship. The Eagles aren't good enough. The 49ers aren't good enough. The Arizona Cardinals, good, kind of fun, not good enough.
Eagles might have something to say about that.
The Vikings, very good. Packers, very good. Pale in comparison to the Lions.
Watch your mouth.
And nobody in that
the
garbage NFC South can challenge. It's the Lions all the way.
Okay.
No excuses.
Mookie.
Fire Campbell if they don't.
What? No. Yeah, that was that.
I went too far.
Detroit fans might burn the stadium down.
From the 573, are you sold that the Cardinals should trade Ryan Helsley this offseason?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Sell why they don't risk the injury. Sell while he's coming off the big season. You're not going to bring him back. You're not going to pay him top end dollars. You're a rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it. No sense in keeping Ryan Helsley. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Absolutely traded this offseason. I'd be shocked if he didn't move.
I totally agree, and I would do it now. This is the highest his value can be, barring maybe the trade deadline next year. But you roll him out on the mound again like you did last year. This guy does have an injury history. Mm-hmm. He does. I don't want to deal with that. This offseason, I get a deal done.
Yep.
From the 217. This is interesting. From the 217, are we sold on toilets just being for using the bathroom, or do we think the government is scanning our poop for more information?
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. I don't know what kind of information they want from our feces.
No.
So, no, I'm not sold on that.
No.
I just had a disturbing view of all of our poop being flushed into a mainframe, a big area, and they've got people down there sifting through it.
That's awful.
That looks like Carey went to Fit Flavors today.
High protein diet for Carey.
This next one comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. Are you sold that the Blues should call up Dalibor Dvorsky to see if he adds some of that much-needed depth scoring or could help on the power play?
No, not yet. Leave that kid alone for now. Let's get on. Once everybody gets healthy, forwards, defensemen alike, and Dalibor Dvorsky's producing at an all-star level down there, then maybe you kick the tires. But for now, let's just play it out a little bit.
Leave them kids alone.
Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone.
New Kids on the Block.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, Marshy.
All right, let's do one more from the.
No.
Just,
hey,
another brick in the wall.
Oh, that's the Dare song. I think
need no
education.
it's Pink Floyd.
There you go.
I said Pink Floyd the other day, and you guys looked at me like I was
You
crazy.
say you set it for something else.
No, it's a
Madonna song.
Yeah.
I just said New Kids on the Block when you said kids. It just made
Kids
sense
on the
to me.
block.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd right now, they can't believe they just heard that.
Right.
I would have no clue.
Shaking my head at you right now.
From the 314, are you sold Philip Broberg could be the next Alex Pietrangelo for the Blues?
Well, it's obviously that's an aggressive statement, but to me, that's kind of what his trajectory is. His first round pick, not as high as Petro was, but look at the way he skates, look at the way he defends. He's 22 years old. What's it going to look like when he's 26, 27? When he's come into his man strength, when he's got even more experience, when he's got even more poise with the puck? Again, sample size what we saw this year, but I was blown away with how good he was.
Imagine not giving that guy money.
This is the best thing ever. Somebody the other day said, I think it was maybe Tanner, said, well, maybe when they negotiate with him, they'll say, hey, we overpaid you the first time, and no, you'll take a little bit of a deal. Okay, one, that's laughable. But two, they're not overpaying. Philip Broberg is every bit good enough for the $4 million that he's making. In fact, he's probably like a $5 million defenseman. So you overpaid in theory for the situation, but the player is playing to the value of what you're actually paying him.
Yeah.
What was Marco Scandella making? Was that around 4?
3.2.
Yeah.
3.2? And I think Philip Broberg is, I don't want to, I'm going to compare him, but I think he's playing better than what Marco Scandella did.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even close.
Here's
It's
one.
not. I like
No,
Marco.
it's
He's a
not.
hell of a guy, but it's not even close.
Likes chopping wood. Anyways, from the 636. That's a thing. He did that in the offseason.
Yeah. He chops wood.
So did
we all
Rocky.
do from time to time.
Rocky.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the best Rocky of all.
It was.
He was chopping wood.
Drago!
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. From the 636, are you sold that Europeans can drink more than Americans?
In some cases, yeah, absolutely.
So I will say this, having been all over the world, Russians.
Well, they're in their own category.
Russians and Finns. Like, they don't just have a casual drink.
It's like water.
Like, no, like never. Like, if they're drinking, like, they punch in on the clock, like, shift starting, and they go until they drop. Mm-hmm. I've watched with my own eyes these Russian guys around me drinking, and then, like, 3 hours later, they're, like, no tarps on, shirts are off, they've lost a shoe, they don't know where they're at. And the Finnish guys go from like normal to blackout and then keep going. It's like, bring me a beer every 10 minutes till I black out, then bring me one every 15.
Space it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin in that little fountain after winning the cup.
So again, I don't know if they drink more or it affects them more, or I don't know.
But training harder than we are.
Some of them sure can party.
Yeah. There you go. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Believe it or not, Oli Marmol received a third-place vote for Manager of the Year.
You're welcome, Oli.
It wasn't Jamie. The person that voted for him apparently is, well, you're not going to believe it. That's next on 101 ESPN.
All right, if you're a sports bettor and you're looking for the best app out there, let me help you out. It's Circa Sports Illinois. The app is fantastic, super easy to download. Just go to the website or find them on any app store. They're right there. They're available. It's user-friendly. It's so much fun to bet on your favorite team, players, and it's all super easy. It's sports betting the way it should be. And the owner of Circa Sports, Derek Stevens, he had this vision a long time ago to create the world's largest sports book and put it in Las Vegas, Nevada. He did. He created the Circa Casino in Las Vegas. But now the world's biggest sports book is right there in the palm of your hand. And it's got that old school Vegas stuff. There's no betting limits. It's got tight money line splits and no promos either. They don't need promos because it's betting the way it should be. And you get the best odds too. So if you pick a game like tonight, I love a couple games in the NHL. Vegas and Toronto, basically even money. But I like Vegas here on the money line at -110. Nashville Predators not having a great year, but I feel like that's got to change. They're -140 at Seattle. Both of those bets I placed earlier today on the Circa Sports Illinois app. It was easy, and I got great payouts and great odds. You're absolutely going to love it. So please don't miss out on the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on all of the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Oli Marmol actually received a third-place vote for NL Manager of the Year. It wasn't Jamie.
No.
Jamie doesn't have a vote.
I don't have a problem with Oli.
Apparently, it was Keith Law. So my question is...
I can't stand Keith Law, and I will never listen to him on the radio.
Was Keith trolling Cardinals fans, specifically Janet?
No, I did. I listened to BK and Ferrario earlier today, and they were kind of discussing it. And one thing that BK said that stood out and made a lot of sense is Keith Law is big time into the analytics side of things. And he probably saw a team in the Cardinals where the analytics based on expected this, expected that, all that stuff, had them at like 76 or 77 wins is what they were supposed to have.
Yeah.
As we know, we've been told, Cardinals get 83 wins. Mm-hmm. And so when the expected numbers is based and the run differential for your team, that's on the players. So when your team wins more games than what you should have, I think he was attributing that to the manager.
Sure.
Whether right, wrong, or indifference, that's just my
Right.
thought. That was actually BK's thought as well.
I actually think it's sound. I think that's sound the way that like BK's thought on that is sound. So my question is, do you guys think that Oli did a better job than expected based on the fact that, I mean, really they added Sonny Gray and Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson. They did not have Jordan Walker take that next step, as we know. Now, they did kind of replace him with Mason Wynn in terms of like 1-for-1, and Mason Wynn a good year. Yeah. But the bottom line is, it's not like that roster was so much better a year ago than it was 2 years ago. Do you think that Oli Marmol does deserve a little bit more credit for the job he did a year ago? Or are you guys with the fans and that he's basically a schmuck?
I think he did what he was supposed to do. I think the roster was constructed in a way that you got what you can get out of it. You got 83 wins. We joke and laugh about it, but that team, when your best two players aren't playing at a high level, Ryan Helsley saved the day more times than we could ever count. 40-something. I can't actually count it, I guess.
You can put a number on it. Yeah.
But I think he got the best out of it. And, you know, that roster was I think they thought going into the season, it's similar to what the Blues have felt. They've dealt with injuries, and the Cardinals dealt with their best players not performing at the highest level. You're doing the best job with the guys you got and what you have around you. Mm-hmm. And, again, you can only – I can't overstate this enough. Like, it's so frustrating to put everything on a coach or a manager when the players – play the game. And if they don't play well, you're probably going to lose a lot. And so I can tell you exactly what you need to do. If you go out there and do something different, I'm going to ask you what the hell you're doing.
I'll tell you what to do again.
I'll reiterate what I just told you. I'll watch you do it again, and it's not correct. And then I have a choice. I either have to sit you down next to me or keep playing you because I got nobody else better than you and hope that at some point you'll listen.
Or you have to do what you're being told to do with that
There
player.
You go.
And that's where I'm going with it, is with Jordan Walker and, you know, the lack of development that happened this season and whatnot. Is that Oli Marmol? Was it his strategy or his thought process, or was it higher up that they had a different thought process? Don't know. We'll never know because they'll never tell us.
Yeah.
But then the lack of production from his superstars, I mean, you can't foresee that as a manager. Mm-hmm. You can't really foresee that as the front office. I mean, you can see the dip in the numbers, but you don't think it's going to fall off a cliff like it did in different categories for those guys.
Sure.
So I think Oli did an okay job. For me, Oli is going to be graded on what he can do next year and the year after, because this is the retool. This is the development. Here is the development plan that we're sinking all of our resources into, and we're putting it on the shoulders of a development coach, because that's what Oli was for how many years? In the minors, he was a development coach working with young players, getting them to the Cardinals. Yep. All those years the Cardinals had good young players and all that. They started out at some point they crossed paths with Oli Marmol. So now I'm going to grade him next season and the season after.
For me, I don't think the team 2 years ago was as bad as it should have been. based on the fact that you had the injuries and the pitching was just god awful.
2 years ago,
yeah,
wasn't
2
it?
years ago.
You think it could have been worse?
What I'm saying is, like, if you didn't have, if you had some combination of these rosters the last 2 years, you're probably right around 83 wins both times. You know what I mean? Like, the pitching was so bad 2 years ago that we saw this, just the small upgrades that they did make. It wound up making a big difference. If you had Mason Wynn's production 2 years ago, I don't think they're that bad. How much that has to do with Oli Marmol, I don't think it's much. So I think that he's done an average job for an average team. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think he's done anything special, and I don't think he's been just the hindrance that some Cardinals fans feel as though he has been. I think he's been fine. I think the Cardinals have been fine. The roster has produced basically an average result the last year, and then again, if you had a similar roster 2 years ago, I don't think it's much better or much worse. And maybe that is kind of a indication that Oli needs to do a better job. I don't know. But I think you got an average roster, some situations last year, like you said, Jamie, with your two studs, taking a step back from a power standpoint, and you kind of get what you got. So I agree with you. Next year is going to be a big evaluation year for Oli.
Keith Law is a tool.
Well, okay. Drew Bannister is going to join us next. He's the head coach of your St. Louis Blues, and we'll talk to him about some of the things that he's seeing right now from his team, what it's like to have Robert Thomas back in his locker room, all that next on 101 ESPN.
After nearly 40 years of outfitting the best-dressed vehicles in the St. Louis and St. Charles areas, I can tell you this, that Pure Performance is the best in the business. They're your one-stop shop for all of your aftermarket modifications. They do a great job of letting you know what will work, what won't work for your vehicle. And sometimes we think this is going to be awesome, and then they show you just how it either works or it doesn't work, and then they'll point you in the right direction. Pure Performance has those remote starters for you. The cold winter right around the corner. Nobody likes to get into an ice-cold vehicle. Get the remote start put in at Pure Performance. You can warm that puppy up and be ready to go, and you won't feel that coldness inside of your car. They've also got lift kits, leveling kits, light kits. I mean, anything that you're looking for your vehicle, they've got you covered. They've got an unbelievable showroom, too. It's 25,000 square feet, and all the accessories are inside. It's super easy to find, too. Right off of Highway 70 in St. Peters. When you walk in, ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in, and then they're going to figure out what you're wanting, what you're needing, and then hand you off to the technicians who do an incredible job over there at Pure Performance. So again, stop by the facility or at least stop by online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues fell to the Minnesota Wild last night by a final score of 4-2. They'll take on the San Jose Sharks tomorrow, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We have Blues head coach Drew Bannister joining us next. We'll talk about last night's game, and we'll dive into some more stuff as well. And that's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
With Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Thompson and Callier phone lines. We're joined by the head coach of your St. Louis Blues, Drew Bannister. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this week. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're good, Coach. We're good. You get Robert Thomas back last night. What does that mean as a head coach? Like you arguably your best two-way forward on the roster. What's it like to get that guy back, and how does it change things for you guys?
Yeah, well, I think you saw the effect of his game and how he played, and certainly it helped our power play and the movement and the opportunities that they had on it, and making some of the matchups a little bit easier. I think getting Bucci to the wing there too, and get those guys together. I think they had some good chemistry early on. They created a lot of chances. I think when I went back, I think they had 9 chances for and 3 against. So, they were doing a lot of good things, and it was good to have Robbie back. And he looked like he hadn't missed a beat. For him being out, almost 4 weeks there now. He's done a lot to keep himself in shape and be ready to play.
Yeah, it says a lot about the player, and I agree. It looked like he had never left. Now, as far as your power play is concerned, Coach, it did make an impact right away. What was the thought process between you and your coaches about changing things up a little bit and having Robbie play the top spot and quarterback the power play?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, obviously we haven't had a ton of success since he's been out. Just changing things up and a new look for teams maybe that were, defending against us. Robbie's played the top when he was in London, so he was comfortable with the switch and going there and seeing how it works. And we thought yesterday, they had good chemistry. They moved the puck well. They created some good chances. Obviously, they scored the one, in the third to tie that game up. But there was, we thought there was some good chemistry there with Robbie up top.
Coach, what did you think about Buchnevich going back to wing after playing center as many games as he has this season?
Yeah, Bucci's done a good job. When Robbie was in the lineup, he was playing in those second line positions and seeing, not as tough matchups. When Robbie went out, like that it was a tough job for Bucci to go and do. I think he lost a little bit of confidence in his game a little bit, and I thought putting him back on the wing might start to jumpstart his confidence. I thought he did a lot of good things. I thought that line was really good. Like I thought Robbie was really good. I thought Jordan Kyrou played a real good game. I still think Bucci's got a lot more that he can come, but I certainly saw a little bit more jump in his step playing with those two.
Coach Drew Bannister, the Blues, joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Coach, when your team is dealing with injuries and it's struggling, I imagine there's probably a tendency to maybe want to do more. Do you find yourself, because it's your first time being a head coach at this level on a full-time basis, do you find yourself wanting to simplify things in order to get the team on track, or add more elements or change more things up to get the guys on track?
Yeah, definitely not adding. I think we're just trying to simplify and attack one thing at a time to kind of plug some holes and move on to the next thing once we see the correct things happening. The effect of the guys being injured, it affects a lot. Like the biggest thing that I've learned from it is it affects a lot of the chemistry within the lines and trying to move lines around and find chemistry when you're missing those bodies and having guys play different positions because you might be a little bit short down the middle, and so you're throwing wingers into positions that maybe they aren't comfortable with. And I think now with Robbie being back, I think we want to just get some more stability within, our 2 or 3 lines for sure, and lock them in, and allow them to kind of work through and get their confidence back. And then, there might be one line there that we might kind of mix some guys in just to see what fits for us.
Coach, with the injuries comes opportunity, and you know that from all your years of playing and coaching, and I know that as well. And you got some banged-up guys on the blue line right now, but that has allowed Scott Perunovich to play more and have a bigger role within the team. And, watching him play, and I'll ask you this, I've been very pleased with his development recently in the last handful of games. But for you as a coach, when you're watching Scotty play right now, what are you seeing from him?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the last 4 or 5 games, and even take away, last night's game, I know he scored, but, previous games to that, I just see a more confident player, especially when he has the puck on his stick. I still think, with that, he's got a little bit of that swagger where he's got to be able to pull back on the leashes a little bit, and also recognize that, he has a job to do, to defend too. But I like the confidence that he has. I think that was kind of missing in his game. The puck plays and getting up in the rush and skating the puck. And, we want to see him play fast, get the puck up to our forwards as quickly as we can. But there's a lot of good things in Scotty's game that haven't been there in previous games, and I think over the last 4 or 5 games, he's really starting to feel his game start to grow.
Coach, you had the line of Texier Holloway and Zach Bulduke, the younger guys, all playing together. What did you see from them last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that was a line like Holloway's, it's not a natural position for him, at least at the pro level, to play center. And, we threw him in there just to see how it would look. And I think that's a line that we might have to tinker with a little bit to try and get some chemistry. I mean, obviously they started. I thought they started off the game great. They had a great first shift. And for the most part, I think we had 4 or 5 really good shifts. I think we were out shooting Minnesota 6-1. And then we make a poor line change. We miss on a wall battle. The puck gets turned over and it's in the back of our net. And it just seems like we move forward. We're starting to build something. And as a team, right now with our confidence, the way the puck's gone in the net, it's like, got a bad bounce here. And we gotta push through that. But I think with that line, they all skate very well. And I think they're a line that can be relentless and make it really hard on other teams' defenders. And they don't need to be physical. I think they're a group that can really skate and get the pucks first and not have to worry about the physical part. And then kind of let their abilities offensively and how they can hold on to pucks to be more creative. But I think there's going to be some work there, and they got to build some chemistry between each other.
Now, Coach, around here they call me the hockey guy. I haven't played professional hockey just yet. I'm working on it. But how difficult is it going from that wing position to playing center? You talked about Holloway and Booch having to do it. How much difficulty is there in that?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most important positions in the game right now, down the middle. To be strong, you're 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is a tough adjustment, and you see that, just the responsibility defensively that's put on the centerman, the amount of ice you have to cover on both ends of the ice, the work you have to do down low, especially in the defensive zone to support your D. So that's a big change physical-wise, and then just thinking the game-wise. So those things don't happen overnight. You have to be patient with it and work with them. And again, a lot of it's not in game. A lot of it's after the game. Obviously, when you see things, you can point it out to them. But there's a lot of video work to be done, post game the next day, kind of with the players, the individual players, to kind of see the positions that you want them in and the reaction and time to, judge their speed. I think that's a big thing too for your centerman, being able to change speeds and be in a position to support the puck, and then be able to pick up, the pace of the game too when you got to be able to get up the ice. So that all in all is a different game for a winger compared to a centerman that they got to figure out.
Coach, being the head coach, and sometimes that that comes with that is tough decisions. Last night, a couple of veteran players were coaches' decisions. Were not in the lineup. Oscar Sundqvist, Matthew Joseph, both experienced players, been around the league for a while now. If you're willing to elaborate, what are some things that maybe those guys could be doing a little bit better, or something that's happened in their game that you'd like them to work on?
Well, I think with Sonny, like we're asking a player that's kind of come off an ACL surgery, and we get him into the lineup. He's played well, but you could see some of the I wouldn't say the mistakes, but I mean Sonny's so smart. He does a real good job of getting himself in position, but you can kind of see some of the. I don't know, I want to say from the previous injury, but he just was getting caught in kind of bad positions on the ice, and we saw some penalties that he had took over the last 3 or 4 games that put us in a tough position, and we rely on Sonny. I rely on him a lot, and especially on the PK, and he's a big part of that PK. And the one thing, it doesn't do us any good if Sonny's in the box. Like we need him out on the ice to be able to kill penalties and be in a position where he's really good at. But I think too, we have to be patient with Sonny. I don't expect Sonny to be 100%, and I think we've seen that. He's got to find his legs here again, and when you go through that surgery, and a lot of people haven't, but with athletes, when the 6-month recovery really isn't a 6-month recovery. There's probably another 3 to 4 to 5 months after that before you're 100%. You're back to where you were before the injury, especially on the ice. And I think that's what we're seeing with Sonny a little bit. And we have to be patient with him and, give him proper rest when he needs it, and get him back in the lineup because he's a real important player to us. And Matty, the same thing, he came off an injury, was playing really well for us going into it. And he's a guy that just has to get back to what he was doing really well before he got injured. And some of that has to do with, coming off an injury, and getting back into the lineup and finding your role back in the lineup and getting back to your game.
Coach, last thing for you, and it revolves around injuries, is you still have a couple of key guys that are out of your lineup, in particular Philip Broberg and Nick Leddy. I know you said today that they're out skating on their own, they're doing some work. Is there any possibility of them being on the road trip coming up? And if so, is there a possibility of somebody getting in?
Yeah, I don't think. I think there's a possibility of one of them being on the road trip, but I really don't think there's a possibility of him playing. With Leds, I think he's going to be a little bit longer than we anticipated, so I don't see him being on the road with us. Broberg, I think, could be on the road with us and be skating with us. He's probably the closer of the two. Ahead of schedule with him, and again, he's worked extremely hard and he looks good on the ice right now. So I don't, to answer your question, I don't think it'd be a possibility of either one playing on the road, but I think when we come back, there could be a possibility of us seeing at least one of those guys in our lineup.
Coach, we appreciate you coming on with us, chatting with us now for over 10 minutes, and we will be watching tomorrow when you guys take on the San Jose Sharks right here on 101 to ESPN.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm glad the fire alarm didn't go off this time.
We don't have to worry about you this time around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good day. Thanks.
Thanks. Why'd you guys look at me like that?
Shame on you.
Because you said...
Shame on you, Anthony.
And that had some stank on it. Almost like you didn't really mean good luck against the Sharks. That had to hurt. Well, you could see the pain in his face.
Shame that you didn't say my San Jose Sharks.
That would be a lie, because they're not my San Jose Sharks.
Are they?
Carey, I expect this crap from Jamie. I don't expect this from you. I thought when you came on the show, you were going to make sure that you cleaned a lot of the errors up here on.
But a couple things about Carey, though. Do you not want him to be honest?
Yeah, I do want him to be honest.
If you do, then you have to tolerate the fact that he's calling you out.
I'm just saying.
That's his honesty.
That's fine if he wants to call me out on stuff that I do wrong. There's enough of it.
Being a fan of a team doesn't make it wrong, Anthony. It's just weird.
I think Anthony is just ticked off that his Central Michigan head coach, after 40 years, is calling it quit in Jim McElwain.
Oh, he's done?
Yeah.
He's stepping away?
Stepping away.
After beating Western last night, he's calling it a day?
Why wouldn't you, though, right?
Go on top.
On a high note.
Well, maybe I'll put my hat in the ring. I didn't get it done this past fall, but you look at my record in spring, I think it speaks for itself. I'm sure the Chips would want that.
You can make a call.
I'm sure.
They need a head coach. I like football.
Carey, I'm saying I would put my hat in the ring.
Oh, you want to do it?
What are we doing?
Anthony, there are times where I'm just not tuned in to what you're
Carey,
all talking about.
I would love to have you as an OC.
Oh, perfect.
But
Sign me up. Yeah, you can be the head coach. That's less stress on me.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Where do I go on the staff?
Jamie.
You're the sideline guy that keeps Anthony from running onto the sideline.
Okay, I asked
or
Anthony.
onto the field.
Jamie,
I didn't ask the OC. I asked the head coach.
Jamie, there's a lot of roles for you. Strength trainer.
Okay.
Maybe special team. I see you as a special teams guy.
You do have energy. You do have special teams coach
special
energy.
teams coach. Mentor. Okay, easily for these young guys. Yep.
I could teach these guys a lot.
Teach them. I'm sure you could.
Definition mentor, teaching people.
The bottom line is Jamie's going to be very valuable for our staff.
Listen up, kids. Don't do what I did.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, playing hockey's pretty cool. But just focus on football right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Play hockey in the offseason.
Yeah.
Carey Davis.
Yeah.
That's right. Carey's going to be.
I'm ready.
Your OC's putting a hockey team together.
Could Rob Manfred's direction for Major League Baseball be beneficial for the game, or does baseball's issues go well beyond its TV rights? We'll get to that next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got their Black Friday everyday event. That means that you can take advantage of some low finance rates that are available throughout the month of November. In fact, the event got extended until December 2nd. So 0% APR on Pathfinders and Rogues, 0.9% APR on Frontier, plus no payments for 3 months available on select new Nissans. The selection at Auto Centers Nissan is unbelievable. In fact, I would highly recommend starting at autocentersnissan.com. That way you can peruse. There are over 700 new and used vehicles that are all in one location out in Herculaneum. You can check out the largest and best used selection in St. Louis. You're bound to find the perfect vehicle that's going to match your lifestyle and your budget. New Nissans and select used vehicles come with Auto Centers Nissan's complimentary lifetime warranty, plus select new Nissans come with their complimentary maintenance plan, plus a 30-day return promise. If you're not completely satisfied with your purchase, bring it back within 30 days. They'll refund your money, and they'll set you up with something else that you might be interested in instead. It's all available out in Herculaneum at Auto Centers Nissan. You can check them out again online at autocentersnissan.com. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We have your shot to score a pair of tickets to Post Malone with special guest Jelly Roll on May 13th at Busch Stadium. Tickets for Post Malone and Jelly Roll go on sale next Tuesday at noon, but you can text in to win free tickets right now at 314-399-9646. Your trivia question today is, who among us, the four of us, really didn't love the Blues Winter Classic jerseys/sweaters that will be worn against the Blackhawks at Wrigley Field in a couple of months?
Who backed it up with an entire research package?
Who had you gave away the answer there?
Research package
You gave away the answer.
Yeah, not us.
to the Winter Classic.
Research.
Well, Anthony
What's
does.
that?
He researches
Oh, he
things.
does research. He does.
Not anything fun, but
No, you're right about that.
Yeah, you guys do great research.
If you have the correct answer, text in 314-399-9646. If the 101st texter with the correct answer, you'll go see Post Malone and Jelly Roll on May 13th at Busch Stadium. Find all the details and a bonus chance to register to win tickets to the show now at 101ESPN.com or your 101 mobile app. Boys, Rob Manfred is making some moves. He's doing some things. He's shaking up the establishment.
oh, what?
Well, I don't know about that. MLB is building toward a new TV future. Rob Manfred wants the league to take control of local TV rights so MLB can launch new blackout-free national packages. All 6 MLB teams with Diamond have deals that expire no later than 2028. And there's a tweet from Evan Drellich that details what's coming. But the bottom line is that Rob Manfred is trying to create a situation where baseball
I know what
can
he's
have
doing. He's trying to
blackout-free games, which is great.
He's trying to do that, but he's also trying to take the money away from the teams and send it to MLB.
Of course.
Because all these teams that have their regional sports deals, even though the money's less than what they got before, are still being paid. So
Well, but
those
doesn't-
teams would be sacrificing that money.
But doesn't Manfred, though, work essentially for the owners? Doesn't all commissioners do that?
Oh, imagine that. The owners want money.
Yeah, but if they take it away from the teams, they'd be taking it away from the owners.
Yeah, maybe. I
You know
don't
what I
know. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic. I just don't know. I don't understand the angle of it. If you want to eliminate blackouts, you can still do it with the regional sports networks. Hey, guys, guess what? We're not blocking out games anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, good. Excellent.
There we go.
Yeah.
Done.
A la carte. I think anything, regardless of how, like, who benefits and all that from a money standpoint, anytime you can create a situation where you get your product in front of more people, that's a good thing. Any situation that a fan right here in St. Louis doesn't have to worry about blackout fees or blackouts, period, is a good thing for Major League Baseball. I never understood being able to buy a subscription to MLB TV and get every team, except for the Cardinals and who the Cardinals are playing.
Except for the team you want to watch.
Correct.
Yeah, I think if that's your plan to make sure that fans, it should be about the fan experience. If you are blocking people from seeing the only team, why do I care? And no offense to the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, I lived in Tampa. For
Maybe you want to watch one.
I don't want to watch. Maybe the Yankees, but I want to watch the Cardinals. So if I'm unable to watch that team, but I paid for it, it's ridiculous. So I think if you're able to remove those blackouts and allow your fans to watch the teams that they want to watch, it'd be a good thing for baseball. Mm-hmm. Because if not, why am I paying for this?
Why am I here?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I might as well get rid of it.
Right.
Move on in a different direction.
It makes no sense to benefiting to be a Cardinals fan in Montana than St. Louis.
Correct.
It just doesn't make any damn sense. So I do think that this is a good thing for Major League Baseball. I think it's a good thing that Rob Manfred is doing. We'll see if he executes it, though.
I thought you were going to say they were having an awards show, so I don't have to watch people in their homes celebrate that they already know that they won the award, and people don't. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No. It's incorrect, Carey.
I think baseball, though, like, I don't know if it's TV, like, necessarily the issue of why people aren't engaged in the game of baseball anymore.
I think that there's a lot of factors that go into this. I think one, baseball, it's America's national pastime, right? It's an opportunity for you to pass the time watching a sport that you love. It is slower. It is meant to be slower. Now they made the rule adjustments to pick up the game a little bit, but it's not hockey. It's not football. It's not basketball. It never will be. It's not. The game isn't meant to be that way. So I do think that as we grow and grow and grow with social media and you're constantly flipping through and what's the next thing? Baseball tends to suffer that way. But put more stars in the game. If you have more stars, that you promote more stars. If you have if your team is in it, you'll want to watch them typically. That's it. That's the bottom line. If the Cardinals are good, people are going to watch here in St. Louis, right? There's nothing that Major League Baseball can and cannot do to change that fact. So I do think the wild card helps out. Having more teams in it deeper into the season is good. I do wonder at some point if they sacrifice some of the revenues to shorten the season, maybe
shorten the season.
Yeah,
Anthony,
stop.
that is no.
Shorten the season up so you're not butting up against the football season, getting into the football season.
Yeah, that'll affect all the records. I get emotional.
Anthony, he get choked up.
Yep. No, it sucks. All right. Well,
that affects money.
Keep getting your ass kicked by Thursday night football game then.
I mean,
what?
Major League Baseball TV ratings compared to even the most garbage NFL Thursday night football game destroyed.
People were watching the World Series.
Okay, the World Series. How about some of your other playoff games?
Don't worry about that.
Some of the regular season games that go on in September?
Don't worry about it.
You're getting your rear end kicked. Nah. But no, you keep doing your thing there, Carey. Where'd you finish? Dead last night, a good day.
How many games you going to cut it to? 154?
Why do you not like football? Why don't you like Thursday night football?
I love Thursday night
football. That's not what I'm hearing.
Thanks, Jamie. Yeah.
I mean, the Steelers play this Thursday night. Tune in.
Which is even more disturbing.
I love football. It's a great game.
It doesn't sound like it.
Nah,
it seems like you're advocating for baseball at this point.
I mean, baseball was one of my favorite sports growing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about Carey.
Yep.
He barely likes football. He told me the other day his favorite sport is basketball.
That is true.
Wow.
Yeah.
He said
this has all been a lie.
He said he'd never play football if
I was 6'7".
If he was 6'7".
I feel fooled. I feel
Me
duped.
too. Yeah. Same.
I call him Super Bowl champion football guy.
Yeah, no. He's really a basketball / baseball / hockey guy.
Yeah.
And he'll prove that next in the Gauntlet.
Is
we do need a new Gauntlet.
Carey Davis?
No, it's not. We need a new Gauntlet contestant. 314-399-9646. Again, 314-399-9646. If you want to play in the Gauntlet, we're going to do so next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, when it comes to our guy, Stewie, he is always making things happen. When it comes to buying a home, debt consolidation, setting you up with the best financing rates, he's on top of it. He's always monitoring the what's going on in like the Federal Reserve and calling his clients back to say, hey, remember a couple of months ago I said now's not a good time to refi? Do so now. That's what happens when you call Stewie on his personal cell phone number and you just explain your situation. He's going to help you out.
Yeah, and from my own personal experience, when we just purchased a new home, we went through the process, and the Federal Reserve had come up with their report, and it dipped a little bit, so we locked in. Then Stewie said, don't worry about it. We'll call you in about a year. If things go down, things change, all the things that's going on in the world these days, we'll refinance it for you. And it was such an easy process to begin with. I can't imagine the refi. He'd probably just hand me paper to sign and be like, thank you. Mm-hmm. And he's saving me money. Yeah. And he wants to do that for everybody out there. All you have to do is pick up the phone. Call him. 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440. You
can call him. You can text him. You can set up a meeting. Whatever you want, Stewie's going to help you out. Tell him that you heard him here on 101 ESPN. And he's going to help all of our listeners. If you can't remember the number, what can you do?
You can always Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Cannabis is now legal in Missouri, and there's a lot to talk about. Through their In the Weeds campaign, Prevent Ed has facts about cannabis use and legalization to dispel myths, start conversations, and prevent harm. Find toolkits and resources at prevented.org/intheweeds.
This is the fact. Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
405, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. And we welcome in Josh. What's up, Josh?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing today. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me in the gauntlet?
Well, it's been so long. Let's go with Jamie.
Whoa!
Just in case he's out.
Oh, what do you say?
Just in case he's out.
Oh, that's a good call.
He's planning
That's a
ahead
good call.
here.
Yeah, attaboy, Josh. I like your passion.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Let's do it.
All right, so Jamie's going to head into the cone of silence right now, and Josh, you're going to tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marcy.
Josh, what category are you hoping for?
I'm not telling you.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Josh.
Oh, no.
What happened?
That's a category.
All right, so the category has already been chosen here, and I think
It's hockey.
Okay, all right. Well, how do you feel about hockey, Josh?
Against Jamie?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. Were you thinking anything but hockey?
Anything but hockey would have been great.
Yeah, okay. So the wheel knows that. He anticipated that, and he gave you hockey. So sorry, buddy. But you never know. You never know.
It doesn't matter if I tell you.
Yeah, that apparently not. The wheel is basically Freddy Krueger sometimes. All right, Josh, you're going to get 4 hockey questions. Jamie will receive the same 4 hockey questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Question 1. 4 teams have tied for the fastest goal scored in a game in NHL history. How many seconds into the game was the fastest goal in NHL history?
Are we rounding to the nearest whole second?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say 2.
2 seconds?
Yeah.
Final answer?
I don't like how you said that, but yeah, I'm going to go 2.
You still haven't said final answer, so.
Final answer.
Okay.
Question number 2. Jersey number 11 was retired by the Blues on December 30th, 1988 in honor of which player?
Options.
Barclay Plager, Brian Sutter, or Doug Wickenheiser?
For some reason, I think Wickenheiser is 14. I'm going to go Plager.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 3. In the 2002-2003 season, Blues rookie Barrett Jackman won the Calder Trophy. Which Red Wing was second in Calder voting? This player played 15 years with Detroit and never played for another team.
Oh, my God. I know his name. It's a Russian guy. Give me the option.
Options are Henrik Zetterberg, Nicholas Lindstrom, or Nicholas Kronwall.
Zetterberg.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Perfect. Final question, Josh. In which season did Doug Armstrong win the Jim Gregory GM of the Year award? In which season did Doug Armstrong win the Jim Gregory GM of the Year award?
I'm pretty sure that was before Stanley Cup years. I'm not sure, so I'll go options again.
2011-12, 2013-14, 2015-16. So 2011, 2013, or 2015.
Kind of had 14 in my head, so I'll go with option B, final answer.
All right, let's bring back Jamie. How you feeling there, Josh?
I think we know.
Okay. All right. Did anybody motion deck Jamie here?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I just don't think he likes you, or me, or Carey.
He's just taking his time. All right, here we go. Now he's on the move. Here we go, Jamie. Here we go. All right, Jamie.
Oh, you have a Sammy Sirius over there.
Yeah. Well, we've been waiting for about 4 to 5 minutes.
Mike Ryder and I were having a very serious conversation. Very serious.
Mike Ryder says no.
I don't think it was very serious.
Mike, it was pretty serious. Okay, maybe not serious, but a great conversation. Yeah, there we go.
Focus. Your category today is hockey.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Okay.
Question 1. 4 teams have tied for the fastest goal scored in a game in NHL history. How many seconds into the game was the fastest goal in NHL history recorded?
I think it's like 7 seconds. Give me the options.
5 seconds, 9 seconds, 11 seconds.
5 seconds. Final answer. Please.
Question number 2. Jersey number 11 was retired by the Blues on December 30th, 1988, in honor of which player?
Brian Sutter. Final answer.
Question number 3. In the 2002-2003 season, Blues rookie Barrett Jackman won the Calder Trophy. Which Red Wing was second in Calder voting? This player played 15 years with Detroit and never played for another team.
Okay. Trying to do my math here. Was it Matthew Dandino? 15 years. Henrik Zetterberg. No, he wouldn't be in that era. Okay, so what year again?
2002-2003.
And he was a rookie?
He was up for the Calder.
Okay, so he wouldn't have been Matthew Dandino because he's my age. Okay, 2002. I am struggle busting right now. Options.
Options are Henrik Zetterberg, Nicholas Lindstrom, or Nicholas Kronwall.
I didn't think Zetterberg was in the league then. Henrik Zetterberg, final answer.
Final question, Jamie. In which season did Doug Armstrong win the Jim Gregory GM of the Year award?
Options.
2011-12, 2013-14,
No.
2015-16.
I think it's 2011, 2012. I hate dates. I hate years. That's really what messes with me. What was the first one? Was that 2011, 2012?
Yes.
All right. A, final answer.
Could come down to that one.
Let's go over these. 4 teams have tied for the fastest goal scored in a game in NHL history. How many seconds into the game was the fastest goal in NHL history recorded? Josh, without the options, you said 2. Jamie, with the options, you said 5. Correct answer is...
It is 5.
That's right, Jamie, up 1-0.
2 seconds would be really fast.
That would be, yeah.
5 feels fast as well.
It is super fast.
Like you would have to go forward on the face-off and just slap one towards the net.
Yeah.
Boom.
We should pull it up after Google it. Fastest goals. See which one it is.
That's what I was thinking, but to have 4 of them do it is a little ridiculous now that I think about it.
It's all right, buddy. I'm right there with you, man.
Jersey number 11 was retired by the Blues on December 30th, 1988, in honor of which player? Jamie, you said Brian Sutter. Josh, you went with Barclay Plager. Correct answer is...
It is Brian Sutter.
Jamie up 3-0. In the 2002-03 season, Blues rookie Barrett Jackman won the Calder Trophy. Which Red Wing was second in Calder voting? This player played 15 years with Detroit and never played for another team. Josh, you went with Henrik Zetterberg. Jamie, you also went with Zetterberg. Correct answer is Zetterberg. Both of you needed the options on that one. In which season did Doug Armstrong win the Jim Gregory GM of the Year award? Josh, with the options, you said 2013-14. Jamie, with the options, you went with 2011-12. Correct answer is...
It is 2011-2012.
Oh. Josh.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Sorry, Josh. You got you 5-1 today.
Yeah, thanks for humbling me, Jamie. I'm going to go home and sit on a bag of ice or something.
I don't know what to say after that, buddy. Good luck.
All right, bub. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing today.
Have a good one.
All right, see you, Josh. Congrats, Jamie. Nice job.
Thank you.
Good job, Jamie.
Thank you.
Nice job there, kid.
By the way, the 1984-85 Blues, the team that I thought that the Winter Classic jerseys should be based off of. Do you know who the captain was for that team?
Brian Sutter.
Congratulations, Anthony. It's the hockey god right there. Knows his stuff. Do you know who the head coach was?
I do. Jamie, tell him.
In 84-85, was it Jacques Demers?
Correct.
Oh,
look at you guys.
Nice. Well done there, kid.
Well played.
All right. A lot of discussion here from A.J. McCarron and the Battlehawks. A.J. seemingly surprised that he was let go.
Spicy.
Yeah. We're going to get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Caw-caw!
I always enjoy going to the Missouri Athletic Club, whether it's working out or parking downtown to go to a Cardinals game, and then maybe going to the Jack Buck Grill or taking advantage of one of the many events that the Missouri Athletic Club has, especially the downtown location. I also enjoy getting the family involved when it comes to different events, whether, we've done Mother's Day brunches, we've done Easter at the Missouri Athletic Club. Man, they always do an exceptional job. You feel like you're taken care of. You feel like the event is always big. Kids always have a great time. That's my MAC. It's Missouri Athletic Club. Well, I think a lot of Battlehawks fans, and us included, were a little surprised when it was released that the Battlehawks would not be retaining A.J. McCarron. Then we watched as the now former Battlehawk quarterback kind of went on a bit of a rant, not only on Twitter, but also on the McCready and Siskey podcast. Here's A.J. McCarron on the Battlehawks release and his thoughts on him. Thoughts on the situation.
I want to come back with a vengeance, and I want to face them twice. I want to go to somebody that faces them twice a year and put it on them. So we'll see if there ends up being a fit and it ends up working out. But I just felt like it wasn't done the right way, and that's part of business. Hell, you can't ask for everything. There's going to be things, right? That's part of life. But I just felt like I was due a little more respect with how it went down than what I was shown. But part of business, can't cry about it, and I don't want to be in my feelings.
But you kind of are.
Sounds like he's in his feelings. Yeah, I have it on good authority that the Battlehawks did have discussions this offseason with A.J. McCarron about moving on from him. He's 34. He's coming off the injury. He had the injury last year during the season. And the Battlehawks felt as though that they either need to go younger at the position or potentially, I mean, the league is kind of trending more in like the dual quarterback or even really a dual quarterback system. When Anthony Becht, the head coach for the Battlehawks, took over, I think he was looking for somebody at the quarterback position that was going to give him an advantage when it came to pre-snap, post-snap, making adjustments on the fly. And that's what he had in McCarron. I think McCarron did a really nice job. But if you look at the way the league is trending, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are mobile. They have that dual threat. If something breaks down, you don't have, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and those around you. You got to make – and the Battlehawks had excellent receivers for the UFL. But you don't have that top-end talent. The offensive line can be shaky. Do you have somebody that can be mobile? So I don't think it's – a really bad decision or earth-shattering decision to move on from McCarron at this point if you can find a replacement for him that gives your offense a little bit more depth. But again, I've got it on good authority that the Battlehawks did sit down with A.J. McCarron this offseason, or maybe not literally sit down, but had discussions about potentially moving on. And he even mentioned there was some chatter about him contacting other teams like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like maybe A.J. McCarron was potentially ready to move on, and then he goes on the podcast. Is like, I don't like the way this was handled. Take it for what it is.
Both things can be true, though. Both things can be true to the fact where he knew, but still doesn't like the way it was handled.
That's right. Sure.
You know what I mean?
That is very true.
But
it almost sounds like Jamie's making the Battlehawks sound like, they didn't contact me at all. There's no discussion. This came out of the blue.
You're right. He's certainly setting it up that way to appear as though they kind of, blindsided him with this. I guess my bigger question is like who's better? Like, if you're the Battlehawks, I know he's 34 and whatnot, but you bring in somebody else. Like, what if you take a serious dip in talent and then all of a sudden you're losing more games? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, A.J. McCarron, for me at least, was a proven commodity.
He was, and he toughed it out in several games last year when he was banged up. They have fallen short the last 2 years too. It's not just because it's not all McCarron's fault or anything like that. But I think what Anthony Becht is doing is he's trying to build a consistent winner, and he might see an opportunity to get a quarterback that is a dual threat guy under
like an
center.
Iowa State quarterback,
like Brock Purdy.
Nah.
There's another one that's currently under center. Oh, that's his son? Oh, I had no idea.
Talking about Rocco Becht, current Cyclone.
Is he a senior?
I don't know.
I think he's
Rocco
a freshman or sophomore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still young.
Otherwise, I'd be like,
maybe. I think with A.J. McCarron, if you know this, you use anything you can to put a chip on your shoulder. So if you may not have liked it, I'm like, okay. They did that to me. I want to play them twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe there was some miscommunication. Maybe there was good enough communication. Maybe, I don't like what you said. I don't agree. And so, all right. And maybe they did communicate, but he feels like it could have been handled better or differently. Either way, I think that at times as athletes, you use whatever you can to motivate you. And if this is going to get A.J. McCarron motivated to come back and play the Battlehawks with a vengeance, I think those were the words he said, I'm all for it. I want to see it.
I want to see it for sure.
I want to see if he's able to do the things that he feels that he can. Mm-hmm. Because, anger is a heck of a motivator.
Yeah, it can also be crippling, too.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, you can be. If you're too angry and not focused, you lose sight of what...
Well, there are sometimes
controlled rage.
Yeah, well, but sometimes you get in a situation, guys, where you get angry, you get instantly angry, and you decide to do something that is, kind of petty. And then winds up blowing up in your face.
Can you give us an example?
Off the top of my head, no. Just what I'm saying is, if you have something done to you, you have a team that was selected, for like a game or something like that, and you wanted that team, but it was selected before you. Don't go into a rage. Yeah. And then just make a bad decision.
Some people, there's actually one particular person, when he gets mad, he turns green.
Yeah.
I think the instance that you're talking about is someone who picked a team that is green.
Yeah, he did.
Out of spite, though.
Out of spite. Yeah, the other person can't control it.
No, don't operate in spite.
I think those two people might kind of be one and the same almost.
Really?
At times, yeah.
Maybe that's why I recognize what this person did.
Somebody here from the 618 says that AJ said, I guess maybe further on in the podcast or something, that he knew the Battlehawks were moving on, but they were supposed to allow him to do a joint announcement and allow him to thank St. Louis. He's upset that they posted his release on Twitter and didn't warn him when it was happening.
Okay.
That's what they're claiming. I don't know. I didn't listen to the whole podcast.
Sure.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, who cares?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think A.J. McCarron will be fine.
That was just raw there. I don't think he cares.
He'll be all right.
What does he ever want here?
Get your...
Nothing.
No disrespect.
He had a nice 2 seasons,
Get
but...
out your feelings.
I just don't care.
Get out your feelings.
I mean, here's the thing. He's throwing spite at us and the Battlehawks. We didn't get an opportunity to be sidelined last year because of him.
Part of it, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Make a great point.
I didn't get to call my play because of him. Now, were other guys on his football complete team? Yeah. But if he's going to throw shade...
He got hurt.
We can throw shade.
He got hurt.
Hey, you know what? Was he out on the field, Carey?
Yeah, but his ankle was almost broken.
Carey, was he on the field?
Almost is not the same as...
Okay, you're right. It's actually worse, but...
Carey,
who's paying attention?
Was he on the fields?
Yes, he was.
There you go.
Icky.
I have a dear friend that told me one time, if you're on the field, you're in uniform.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Play like a champion.
Unless it's the Washington Commanders quarterback in Jaden Daniels.
No, he said...
No, I said if he's playing, I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm. That's my point, Marsh.
Broken ribs?
Exactly.
Hey. Tape it up.
Ankle hanging there like you're Dylan at a knocker ball.
Can you breathe? Can you walk? Can you run? Hey, that's what I felt.
Yeah. All right. It's Fastline on 101 at ESPN. Some good stuff there. All right. Speaking of Carey, he has a clear bias for the SEC in that he hates the SEC.
He hates? It's weird.
Yet he's so willing to overlook the clear bias that also has occurred here in the Big Ten. We'll get into that next. Carey's got a headache already here on 101 ESPN.
if you're looking for somewhere to go grab a bite to eat, maybe have a nice drink at the end of your workday, but you want it to be somewhere fun and has great food, let me help you out. Head over to Twin Peaks in Maplewood. It's just an awesome spot. Easy to find, beautiful inside of it. They got TVs all lined up in there, so any sporting event that you're looking to watch, whether maybe some NHL hockey on tonight, they'll put whatever you need on the TVs. The menu is extensive, too. They got so many amazing items. They're always adding new items to their menu as well. Right now, I've talked about it before, the quesadilla tacos are incredible. They come with that little au jus, that dipping sauce on the side. You dip those tacos in there. It's so good. It's so good. And you know what else is good? 29-degree man-sized draft. It goes with everything on the menu. And if you're looking for something different, whether it's bourbons or flavored vodkas or Pink Whitney or some of the tequilas, they make a great margarita as well. And for the youngsters out there, they've got a fantastic menu for the kids. They've got great sweets and things like that. And also they got great sodas, and they make a killer Shirley Temple. So please head over to my friends at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost to the Minnesota Wild last night by a final score of 4-2. They'll take on the San Jose Sharks. That's Anthony Stalter's San Jose Sharks tomorrow. Yeah. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7. And, of course, you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. We had Blues head coach Drew Bannister on the show earlier today. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 ESPN Schaefer Door Company mobile app. It is free. Go check it out. Just head to the podcast page where you can find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Coming up next, Carey is going to defend the Big Ten, perhaps. A lot of SEC bias, perhaps. We'll discuss college football next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is driven by Johnny Lawnduff Chevrolet and Johnny Lawnduff Autoplex. See them at lawnduff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie just threw a shot at Carey / his Illini.
Almost cursed.
Carey just realized that the Illini are ranked 25th, I believe, right?
Yeah.
In the latest college football playoff rankings.
Where's Mizzou at?
23?
Oh.
Yeah.
2 ships passing in the night, Carey.
Give it another week.
It seems like both those ships continue to just stay where they're at when they probably shouldn't.
They dropped anchor.
Yeah.
We're back going in the right direction.
I think we can all agree that the only reason why Mizzou is ranked is to justify Alabama's ranking. I think we can all agree the only reason why Illinois is ranked so we can justify Penn State's ranking.
No. You know what?
All on board, say aye.
Nay.
All on board. No?
Nay.
Okay. Cheap shot for everybody involved?
Yeah, why not?
No, I completely agree with you.
Thank you.
Crazy.
Completely agree with you.
Carey, why do you hate the SEC so much, but
who hurt you?
You overlook the committee's bias toward the Big Ten as well?
What bias would that be?
Penn State.
Penn State has how many losses? The
Penn
crazy
State,
thing,
Indiana.
they have 0 losses.
Played anybody.
They got 0
They
losses.
haven't played anybody.
They got
They've
one
played high
loss
school
between
teams.
the two of them. Yeah, so I don't know. I watch football a lot, and there's a texter. I actually really like this, and I want to give them credit. The 314 SEC, the self-entitled conference. I think that is very accurate.
What number?
Really good. That's actually really good.
Let me see the number.
314. That's not my number.
That's your number.
That's not my number. 314. I appreciate that.
Let me see your phone.
Yeah, SEC.
Hold on.
Oh, what are you looking at? Oh, hey, I hope the camera didn't see that.
Man, Jamie sounds like a certain NHL coach asking for a phone.
I'm going to airdrop your pictures to our TVs in here.
Carey.
Self-entitled conference. Thank you, 314. That was actually very good.
The committee
couldn't be better.
The committee clearly has a bias to 2 conferences. It's the SEC and the Big Ten.
Because they are the 2 best conferences. Like, let's be honest.
I'm okay with that line of thinking, but let's not crush the SEC when the Big Ten's getting favors too.
But let's be honest and say week to week, you don't know who's going to be able to do what.
I'm with you.
And the fact that there's this notion that because a team plays in the SEC, they are granted an opportunity and they are thought of to be better than other teams in other conferences. I would take Colorado against any team in the country right now. They aren't in the SEC or the Big Ten. They can play football. They got stars. They got guys. They are an explosive play waiting to happen in every facet of the game. So for someone to say, oh, Texas will blow Colorado out of that's crazy talk to me.
Texas has the biggest win is Michigan.
That's crazy, but that's what I'm saying. But Texas is the highest ranked SEC team. Mm-hmm. That's the mindset. And so when the texter from the 314 says self-entitled conference, I couldn't agree more because that's what it is. Because this notion that because you play in this conference, you are automatically better. Oh, they play hard, tough teams every week. So what? So do other conferences. So do other teams. And just because they are all on the same level. How are we going to say that that level is so much greater than the Big 10 or the Big 12 or the ACC? Like, you can't just automatically say that. That's the part to me that is the most troubling.
I think we can say that the SEC and the Big 10 plays a much difficult schedule, more so than the Big 12.
Okay, but
or the Mountain West.
But what I'm saying is, oh gosh.
He can't help himself.
There's not one MAC team in the top 35.
I think we brought up MAC in every single segment.
Which is a real shame.
It's not a shame.
Ohio's playing Toledo tonight, 7-3. Nobody's talking about them.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the old Bobcats.
7-3. Is that the final score?
7-3. Marsh. 7-3.
Oh, I thought you said the final score.
The Big 10 and the SEC. Oh, you think you're so slick over there, huh? You're so slick. The SEC and the Big 10 are the two dominant conferences, and they're both getting favors. Here's my point in all this, all right? It used to be when everybody was bitching about the Yankees and all the spending, the Red Sox got off. Like, nobody talked about the Red Sox. Red Sox were doing the same damn thing for a long stretch.
They were a little brother.
Right. So, but nobody talked about it. Why? Because the Yankees. The Yankees are doing it. Well, the Red Sox are spending a bunch of money, too. Nobody says anything. The Red Sox are fine. The Big Ten is benefiting as well from the committee, just because the SEC has gotten a lot of benefits as well. Let's recognize the fact that both conferences, because of the way the conferences are currently set up, are both benefiting.
Well,
I agree with you.
I agree. But what I'm saying is people will say, oh, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State, they're all ranked in the top 5. Oregon is the number 1 team in the country. Mm-hmm. And their answer will be, well, that's because they don't play an SEC schedule. That's ridiculous to me. They all have 4- and 5-star athletes. Penn State recruits the same kids that Texas recruits. Ohio State recruits the same kids that Alabama recruits. They are all recruiting against one another. So for someone to say point blank, oh, well, if Oregon were playing in the SEC, they'd have at least 1 or 2 losses. Why? Because they are a Big 10 team? That's asinine to me. That does not make sense. They are a great team. They are playing in a tough conference, and they are undefeated. And no matter where they play or who they play against, they will probably be the better team. They are the best team in college football, hands down, right now. They are in the Big Ten. But people will say, well, if they were in the SEC, they'd have a couple of losses. That's not true.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that either way.
We can't predict
we don't know that either way.
But what I'm saying is people will tell me, Mr. Rivers here, that a 3-loss SEC team.
I'm not an SEC guy. A 3-loss team, Carey. Never mind the conference.
A 3-loss MAC team ain't going to make it.
Well, I know that. But if we're okay, so hang on, Carey. If we're going on record alone, then there's teams.
Those are his reading glasses. We've been over this.
I was like, what the hell? If we're going on record alone, then FBS teams should be ranked ahead of some of these teams. If we're going on record alone, never mind strength of schedule, any of that stuff, good loss, bad loss, if we're just record alone.
So Army should be ahead of Georgia.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
There you go. But do you agree with that?
If they beat Notre Dame this weekend, sure.
But
I hope they beat Notre Dame.
Do you agree with that?
Great.
Nah.
But then you can't use the strength of schedule doesn't matter and the wins or losses.
What matters is who you lose to, in my opinion. If you're beating
what about who you beat?
That matters as well, but also
apparently not as much for you.
Because if you beat a team, you and Alabama, Georgia and Alabama played a hell of a game. Georgia lost. Mm-hmm. That's a tough loss versus a very, very good team. Illinois has played 5 ranked teams. They are 3-2 against those teams. They lost. 2 of their losses have come against Penn State and Oregon. Those are 2 of the best losses in the country. Like they have lost to 2, but
we're on the Illini right now.
I'm telling you that it matters who you lose to as well.
But does it not matter who you beat?
The loss to Minnesota for Illinois was a terrible loss.
But what about winning?
Flip it. I understand that. The wins are part of it as well, but who you lose to matters.
But how about how bad you beat a team compared to how bad somebody else didn't beat them?
That doesn't matter to me.
Why?
Because I don't care. Because if you're the better team, you should win. If you're the better team, you should win. But if you lose to a team that is not even ranked or does not have a winning record, that speaks volumes to me. Because what are you saying? I just gave you an example. Illinois has 3 losses on the year. 2 of them to to Oregon and Penn State. Those 2 teams have 1 loss between them, but they also lost to Minnesota. If they would have beaten Minnesota, Illinois would be in this conversation in the Big Ten as well. That's a terrible loss at Minnesota to Minnesota at home.
Okay.
It matters.
It matters to you.
No, it matters to them.
But it matters more to you.
No, it should. Because, again, if Illinois beats Minnesota, Illinois is probably ranked number 15. I'm telling you, because they lost to an unranked team, it matters. It put them out.
Let me ask you a question in a different way, okay? First of all, I'd like you to breathe, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth. There we go. Look at that. Feels better,
It does. Thank you.
Look at you. Such a good guy.
Smiling now.
No, but honestly, if Georgia and Indiana both play the same team, just walk with me before you get to settle down. They both play, let's just say, Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia beats them by 45 points. Indiana beats them by a field goal. Are you still saying Indiana is the better team?
I can't say that they're the best. That to me.
But you're using that with the losses.
No, we are not. I'm saying if you Georgia beat Purdue, and Indiana lose to Purdue, that speaks volumes.
I understand, but
that tells
not
me a
following
lot.
Where I'm going with it.
Wins against like opponents based on how much you beat them by, that to me is
but
not
it
telling me.
Matters with what the way they
that
do
to me
things.
does not tell me that this team is better than that team.
Right.
Alabama barely beat Georgia. But that doesn't mean that Georgia is not a good football team.
Exactly.
Okay, but Alabama also lost to Vanderbilt.
That's fine. But you're only counting the losses. You're not looking at it from the other side.
I'm counting the losses because those matter depending on who you lose to.
Lopsided wins matter too when you have 2 teams that are ranked.
They can't. Why?
Because they're playing the same
matter
opponent.
more than a loss.
Versus
an unranked team?
I said they matter too.
They don't matter. In my opinion, they can't matter more.
All right. Well, in my opinion, they do.
Okay.
All right.
I was hoping we'd take this time to talk about how bad Mizzou has been this year and how they don't deserve to be in the top 25. But this was great.
No, instead we got how good Illinois is.
Illinois is damn good. They have a bad loss to Minnesota. That wasn't a good loss.
Marsh, you can make that the biggest question of the day later. You know? If you want to.
I mean, I think we're good.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Prove Me Wrong is next. If you got a Prove Me Wrong statement, 314-399-9646 here, Commerce Service text line. We'll play Prove Me Wrong here on 101 ESPN.
If you're currently thinking about selling your home anywhere here in the St. Louis area and surrounding areas, please take a moment and call the best in the business. That is Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're looking to get the best price as well for your home, call Gloria Lou. She knows the market. She knows where it's trending. She understands where the perfect price point is for you as far as selling your home is concerned. And Gloria is so confident that she can sell your home. She'll sit down with you. You guys will agree upon a sales price, and then she'll sell your home for said price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. And why is she so confident? Because she's got a database with thousands of people that are in there ready to purchase your home and other homes as well. But that drives traffic to your listing, hopefully multiple offers, and again, hopefully more money in your pocket. And all of that starts just by calling Gloria Liu. So please pick up the phone, call her, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. And as always, Gloria and the seller must agree on not only the sales price, but the possession date.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, time to play Prove Me Wrong. This is where Andrew Marsh reads off your Prove Me Wrong statement, and it's up to the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter to, in fact, convince Judge Marsh that we have proven that statement wrong. Judge, as always, you look smart, sophisticated, and handsome as ever.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
From the 636, Prove Me Wrong. Losses matter more in the college ranking than wins do. Anthony, what do you think about this one?
Not to the committee. The committee has been steadfast in wins matter more. They have forgiven losses in the past. It's all about who you beat and when you beat them. And it will always come down to that. If you look through any of the teams where they are now, count up the number of ranked wins they have. Even if they have a loss or two, they're still getting the benefit of the doubt because they've beaten teams that are ranked higher. Look at Alabama, for example. This is the way the committee has always operated. The wins have mattered more to the committee than the losses have. They've forgiven losses in the past.
Carey, your thoughts?
No, I'm listening.
From the 618, prove me wrong. Philip Broberg has been the more impactful injury the Blues have had this year.
Robert Thomas is
He'll be your best two-way player.
I mean, without you playing offense and defense, he
see the
makes
power play?
I mean, he is everything you. Okay.
Way to go, Jamie. Really stepped up there, didn't you?
Left us hanging, didn't he?
I just couldn't do it.
Looked like Jackson Smith and Jigba when asked about Shane Waldron in the offseason. The Bears hired your former OC. Your thoughts?
Are we live?
Are we live?
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Good luck to
Good luck to them.
From the 314, prove me wrong. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the most dangerous team in the AFC. That is from Jerome.
Well, their field goal kicker is, that's for sure. When I look at the Steelers, the defense is playing fine, but where the heck do you think they're actually going to go with that sputtering offense? It's been nice that they've been able to do the old magic trick of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, who, it's amazing, he still can't score touchdowns or anything else except for field goals. So the Steelers are screwed. Let's just be honest. They get up against some of the better teams who have good defense. Like, I don't know. How about the Kansas City Chiefs? Their offense isn't even as good, and it isn't very good, and it's still better than what the Steelers' offense is. And their defense will definitely take care of Russell Wilson, and they'll probably block a field goal and win the game that way, because if they take the kicker out, there's no offense for the Steelers. So
very true.
Yeah, no chance for the Steelers.
Jamie, if I may, the Cowboys beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh this year.
Yeah. Talk about bad losses. Judge, can we get a ruling?
Judge, the Cowboys beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh this year. Yeah. Can't be dangerous when you lose to the Cowboys.
You make a great point.
Thank you.
Although Justin Fields was the... Never mind.
Nope. Doesn't matter.
From the 618, prove me wrong. Since the Cardinals are putting a subpar product on the field, they shouldn't charge as much for tickets and concessions. Although, we might need more beer to watch the 2025 team.
Beer and whatever else is available there. Little bobbleheads, the T-shirts, the hats, all that stuff. Little Fredbird stuffed animal.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, spend your money. Otherwise, the Cardinals can't go out and get that free agent that you're looking for. So if you want this team to turn it around quickly, you go out there and you spend that money. Because you know what? You spend, they'll spend. They've told you. I thought that was pretty good.
It was good. I feel like we're dead men walking, though.
Yeah. Some of these are, and I think the listeners have caught on.
Oh, you think? They're getting harder and harder.
From FedEx Brian, prove me wrong. Lamar Jackson deserves the MVP more than Josh Allen. Thanks for your reply in advance. Carey Davis, Bills Mafia.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson has had a great year. Josh Allen has not. Josh Allen elevates his team to win games. Now, Lamar has done so-ish. Lamar has done so a little bit. Arrowhead Stadium, L. That was against the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen, who'd they beat last week?
Chiefs, Anthony.
Yeah. And when Josh Allen needed to make a big play against said Chiefs, did he make it, Jamie?
He did.
Yeah. Did Lamar?
No.
No, he didn't. Lamar Jackson has had a really good statistical year. You can't win the MVP when you're losing to college teams like the Raiders and the Browns. I rest my case. Thank you. Raiders and the Browns wouldn't make it in the MAC, Judge.
Well,
MAC's tough conference.
Oh, man.
Prove me wrong.
Action tonight, 6 o'clock.
It's from the Water Boy. The Winter Classic jersey isn't the worst jersey the Blues have ever worn.
Oh, it's absolute. Oh, wait. Oh. Hang on. The Winter Classic jersey isn't the worst.
This one coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what the worst one is.
There.
You ever see the Blues? You ever see a team decide to just add a little color I did with the Blues in the 90s. They decided to add a little red, a little McDonald uniform there, a little Ronald McDonald style. Now, Judge, I understand you may have liked those jerseys, okay?
Watch your mouth.
But
they're terrible.
Red jersey for the sake of red doesn't make any damn sense to me.
Which one?
The 90s one. The one that Gretzky wore.
The one that I wore.
The one that Jamie Rivers wore. That he hates. He can't even look himself in the mirror whenever he pictures himself in that uniform.
I don't even hang it up on the wall.
Not even on the wall at all. Yeah. And we're going to go red. Where in your color scheme were you ever red?
The 80s.
But you're called the Blues.
Yeah, you're called the St. Judge, let me remind you. Thank you, colleague. They're called the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
It's a double entendre, okay? Double meaning. Blues as in musical blues.
Yeah.
And blues as in we wear blue.
And multiple colors of blue.
It's not called the St. Louis Red Blues. That's just dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be purple.
It would be purple, thank you.
First of all, just do that.
He loves them stupid.
You kind of got the question.
You got the question wrong.
You got the question wrong.
I did?
Yeah, that's why I paused.
I think you did it wrong.
Because it said, prove me that they aren't the worst, which means you would have had to prove that they are
the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a layup.
Yeah, that's why I pumped the brakes.
I feel like I feel like when we do lose, we're either dead men walking or
confused.
we get confused.
This is what happened. Right, you went left.
Yep.
Yeah, it was doomed from the start.
Anthony, have you seen the city of St. Louis, the flag?
Yes, I have. The fleur-de-lis.
What are those colors?
Listen, I'm not talking about the city of St. Louis. I'm talking about the St. Louis Blues.
Right.
Okay?
Blues.
Yeah, blues.
Being the key.
So
red was always a terrible idea, Marshall. You can't defend it. You'll lose credibility.
Hold on. There was red in the 80s jersey. It was very subtle.
And that was a mistake.
No, it wasn't.
The jersey I was drafted in had a subtle little hint, like a little thin stripe of red.
Good.
It was fine.
A little touch of it.
It was fine.
But why would you add a stripe?
Now, Anthony, if you want to say we'll call them the clown jerseys.
Yeah. Why do people call it that?
There's a bunch of clowns out there.
If you want to say the red reverse retro,
worked out.
The full-on red clown
St.
jersey,
Louis.
reverse retro, it's probably got to be up there as one of the worst.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Along
Both
with
of them
the
terrible. Second place, the
alternate,
other one.
the circle one that I just don't like.
Wow,
I just don't like that one.
You've lost a lot of credibility here in the segment.
Have I?
Yep.
Ouch.
I wore that clown jersey. We won the Stanley Cup, Anthony.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but
did.
the team wasn't wearing them.
No, they
true.
weren't, but I was.
All right.
I think a lot of people like it.
It's a jersey that held us back in the 90s, quite honestly.
What other two was that? What it was?
Guys actually hated wearing it.
I mean, it does look a little odd.
It was,
but it's a great
buffoonery.
Vintage jersey. It's a great vintage jersey, and Wayne Gretzky wore it.
Yeah,
Jamie
and
Rivers
he
wore
hated it.
I think a great
we talking
vintage
this one here?
jersey would be like Cowboys.
Carey, I hated it.
White helmets. They
it
should
was
do
worse
that.
9 because it was tilted.
This one right here?
Yes, yes.
I think it works perfect for the 90s. It is a 90s jersey.
Yeah, and the 90s were filled with bad hockey jerseys.
This is bad.
But it's vintage. That's what makes it great.
No, just because it's vintage doesn't mean it's good. I can take you to a store and show you something vintage. You're like, that's crap. Yes, but it's vintage, Marshy. I'm going to charge you $3,000 for it.
I think it's fantastic. Is it a little dumb? Yes. But that doesn't mean I can't like it.
All right, we've been
If you are in the market for car or home insurance, please reach out and give a call to Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. They work alongside Allstate Insurance, and they're not just an insurance company. They're an extension of your family. They are. They make sure that you are properly covered, that you are getting the best rate available. Tracy talks about certain insurance companies now that are canceling policies on people that have used their insurance. And that's kind of crazy that you pay for this insurance, then you have to use it because maybe a flood happened and then the company cancels you. Well, the Bibb Agency, they don't do that. They make sure that you're aware of your policies. They make sure that you're up to date on everything. And again, that you're properly covered with the right amount of coverage for your home or your car or whatever it is. So please give Tracy and the Bibb Agency a call for a free non-committal quote. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Oh, Sean McVay has the best playbook. Oh.
Stalter on the fumble.
Oh, my God. Anthony.
You like that? You like that?
You're wrong on this one, Anthony.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
On stacks, on stacks, on stacks.
It always makes me feel good to hear that intro. Very uplifting, especially when Janet says, Anthony, nobody cares what you have to say. 5:08, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. All right, we're going to go through this quick, boys, because Carey and Jay have been fighting all day, and they ruined my clock. I said clock, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Marsh, go.
Number 10.
This team's running out of juice right now, but I still like them more than a lot of the other crap teams in the league. Give me the Washington Commanders here.
Whatever. Give me the L.A. Chargers here at 10.
I got the Cardinals here, the Arizona Cardinals.
Too low on the Chargers, too high on the Cardinals. Marsh, go.
I also have the Washington Commanders.
All right.
Number 9.
This team should have flat out lost to the Bears last weekend. I should have docked them even more. But again, bottom of the league here, not that great. Or the middle of the league's not that great. Give me the Packers at number 9.
Oh. Yeah, this team really screwed it up this week too, but still think they're in my top 10. Give me the Ravens.
You guys, interesting. I got the Chargers here.
Too low on them.
Nah, okay.
Arizona Cardinals for me.
Number 8.
Give me Marsh's Minnesota Vikings. Haven't necessarily looked great despite the wins. They basically has had a Big Ten, like Indiana, Penn State schedule, but they're winning games, so I guess I got to give them credit. Give me the Vikings at 8.
At 8, give me the flailing but still talented Washington Commanders.
I have the Baltimore Ravens here. Tough loss to the Steelers.
I have the Chargers at number 8. Give me the Chargers.
Too low on them.
We'll see.
Number 7.
Give me the Chargers here at number 7. And all this team does is win games-ish. I love Justin Herbert right now. throwing some dimes. Carey doesn't want to recognize it, but the Chargers are a damn fine football team.
He's good.
Give me Chargers 7.
All right, I'm going here at 7 with Marshy's Vikings.
Smart man you are. Vikings for me as well.
Skull Vikings at number 7.
Yeah. Too high on them guys.
Number 6.
Don't believe in this head coach? Not one bit. But I do like the talent on the team. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles at number 6.
All right. Not sure how much it says about this team beating the Cowboys, but give me the Texans here at 6.
Ooh.
They're not even on my list.
Samesies.
Ask if I care, guys.
I don't think we need to. Do you care?
I don't think he does. I got the Commanders here. Yes, they've taken 2 losses to 2 teams that are leading their division in the last couple of weeks. Give them more respect. The Philadelphia Eagles are a really good team. They lost to them last week. Lost to the Steelers. Another really good team leading their division. You guys are crazy.
The Baltimore Ravens at number 6. Yeah, they've lost to some pretty crappy teams, like Anthony said in the previous segment.
Thank you.
When you lose to a great team in Pittsburgh,
here we go.
Only by a few points, it's tough to drop them that far. So Baltimore at 6.
5.
This is where I have the Ravens. And ultimately, do I have them better than the Eagles? Do I think they can beat the Chargers, Vikings, Packers, Commanders? Yeah. So give me the Ravens 5, even though they choke constantly.
Here we go. Number 5. Pittsburgh Steelers, number 5.
Here we go.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. I got the Eagles right here. Philadelphia Eagles.
Carey, I like what you're thinking. I also have Anthony Stalter's Philadelphia Eagles.
Fly, scumbags, fly.
Number 4.
Number 4 I have, here we go. Steelers gonna be number 4. No touchdowns, no problem for the Steelers.
That could be a motto.
They just win games.
The kicker doesn't get hurt. All right, at number 4, I've got the Fly, Eagles fly.
Yeah, for me, I got the Chiefs. Bad loss. Number 4.
Number 4, I have, here we go, Russell. Here we go, putting our trust in Russell. That doesn't sound good, but
number 3.
I got the Bills here at number 3. Only reason is they win against the Chiefs in the regular season, not so much in the postseason. I can't have them ahead of the Chiefs. Give me the Bills at number 3.
You guys going to have the Bills below the Chiefs?
Ridiculous as what Anthony just said is... And it really was ridiculous. I have the Chiefs here at number 3.
Okay.
We're not in the playoffs yet.
We will be. And then we'll see how your Bills do.
Oh, we'll see how your Chiefs? That sounds so gross.
It's only for 2 weeks.
I got the Steelers right here.
Oh, of course you do.
AFC North leading Pittsburgh Steelers.
Going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
There you go.
2 weeks. More like 2 years. Where we're at right now with you and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have
2 weeks. Kansas City Chiefs at number 3.
Number 2.
Yeah, this is where I have the Chiefs. You guys are all up in arms. Oh, how can you have the Chiefs?
They lost
the Bills.
to the Bills.
Yeah, and the Ravens absolutely trucked that Bills team. So if we want to play that game, then I have to have the Cowboys out of the Steelers. Now, how ridiculous does that sound?
That sounds really
Give me the Chiefs, the eventual Super Bowl winning champion Chiefs here at number 2.
Well, Anthony's been into the cough syrup early here today. I've got the Bills at number 2.
Same.
I also have the Bills at number 2.
Okay. Number 1.
Lions, I'll say aye. Aye. Best team in the universe, heading right for that Super Bowl loss against the Chiefs. But, boy, Lions are a locomotive.
That's really good because they play in Detroit.
What does that have to do with locomotive?
Yeah.
Isn't that a car?
No, that's a train.
A
locomotive's a train. Oh,
That's
my
all right.
God.
That's okay. No, that's all right. He just had up the guys.
I mean,
he knows what a train is.
I'm sorry, I got the planes, trains, and automobiles.
You had a brain fart.
Mixed up.
Let's not go too far here, okay? We've all hit our heads. We've all said dumb things. Marsh just had a small brain fart there. He knows what a train is.
I do know what a train is. I used to take the Metrolink down to the Blues games.
Gary, you know what a train is.
I was a kid.
Yep.
That's different. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
So now I feel like an idiot.
Sports Six-Pack is next. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service tax line. Sports Six-Pack next.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
All right, time for the Sports Six Pack here on the Fast Line on 101 ESPN 314-399-9646. The Air Commerce Service tax line. So you got a question for us? Send it in. Marsh, go.
Question number 1.
All right, from the 636, if the Steelers make a deep playoff run and you're the GM, what do you do with the quarterback situation in the offseason?
I think you probably re-sign Russ and draft a younger quarterback. If you can get a guy that you feel has value and is able to potentially help you in the future, it gives you that transition period where Russ is still playing well enough and you have a quarterback that is hopefully your future. I think you let Justin Fields walk. You thank him for his time because he did a great job while he was here, but there would be no need to have him and another quarterback on the roster if you have a young guy that you're trying to bring in and kind of prepare him for taking the reins at some point.
Yeah, I agree. You re-sign Russ and you keep looking. You draft, you develop, but if Russ deserves a contract extension, I wouldn't. It doesn't have to be very.
It's not going to be $40, $50 million. No,
bring him back and
$25 million.
But you got to keep looking.
You definitely sign. You definitely, hopefully, are drafting. And the Steelers' issue is and always has been they're not drafting before 16.
Right.
Like when you are constantly when you don't have a losing season, as Mike Tomlin has never had. You're not going to be a top 10 pick. You're not going to get those guys. So you have to draft well and evaluate guys and find a guy that can be on that roster and help you in the future.
Yeah, maybe bring in Aaron Rodgers.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't do that.
Question
Mike
number
Tomlin
2.
would love him.
Oh,
listen.
I'd pay to watch that.
No.
That would go really bad.
Yeah.
I'd pay to watch it, though.
You wouldn't see it.
It'd be like the Jake Paul Tyson fight for the first 2 rounds.
From the 904, you guys inspired me today.
Thank you.
I went with the old school number 99 Wayne Gretzky to wear to the Jacksonville Icemen game down here in Florida, which is awesome. We got a listener listening down in Florida.
Sweet.
What are your guys' favorites team sweater? Like, what's your favorite sweater? Favorite jersey?
For me, it's probably the. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
it is a cool logo. The Sharks do have a cool logo.
Oh, wow.
They do.
There it is. Clip that.
That's your favorite?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I mean, come on. It's a shark eating a hockey stick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They did a good job on that. Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite sweater of all time.
One of my favorites, I'm not even being biased on this, is the ones that the Blues wear every Saturday night. Their heritage jersey.
Those are great.
The light blue with the yellow, it's great. I think it's awesome.
Do you think they should go full-time with those?
I would. As my home jersey, I think it'd be awesome. And then I think they should go full-time with the jerseys they wore the Winter Classic in Minnesota, the white ones.
As the road uniforms?
As the road one, but not like cream colored, like actually white. Yes.
Yeah, get rid of the cream.
I know mine. I don't know, Marsh, if you and I agree on this, but my favorite sweater is the Rangers Statue of Liberty dark blue.
Oh, yeah.
Navy blue. I love that one.
Those are sweet.
They need to go to that full time and stop with the.
I don't know about that.
They need to go with it full time and stop messing around. That logo is awesome.
As much as we.
Dark blue, way better than the light blue.
What?
The dark blue,
the
navy blue over the light blue that they have.
Ranger blue is famous, though. Like, that's the...
Make it unfamous by moving on.
All right.
You want to be famous? I'll make you infamous.
There you go.
You know what movie that's from?
Yes, of course. It is Gladiator. Jurassic Park.
Not even close.
Top Gun.
Hey, he's never seen that.
Top Gun.
He's never seen that.
Space Jam.
No,
Make
it
you
does start with
famous.
an S, though.
7.
No, that's what's it?
Slapshot.
Make you famous. Isn't that it?
No.
I have no clue.
Sure, the text line knows. It is J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man.
Oh.
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy.
Oh. Okay.
There you go. All right, moving on.
Question number 3.
Now you know.
From the 636, if Indiana gets boat raced, not motorboated, by Ohio State. They get boat raced by Ohio State. Should they drop out of the top 12?
If it's bad, I think.
If who?
If it's
Indiana.
bad, Indiana.
Oh,
Indiana
yeah.
against
It's
Ohio
going to be
State.
bad, guys.
I think if either team loses, I think they're still in the top 12. I think they're still in the college football playoffs. If Indiana gets smoked, they shouldn't get smoked. But if they get smoked by 40, you gotta that would lead to some questions. Because, that's a bad loss. As I've said all day, bad losses matter.
Oh, boy.
That's all I've been saying.
I think they probably are still in the 12. Maybe they're the first team out next week. I don't think they're going to drop.
You would probably
beyond
put Tennessee in,
yes,
instead of
Indiana. Yeah, so those teams probably flip.
Now, if they get smoked in the Big Ten championship game, they're still in.
Okay.
My opinion.
Question number 4.
From the 618, which sport had the highest learning curve for you that you regularly discuss?
Well, in terms of learning it, hockey.
Well, I don't think it's hockey for me. No, for me, it's easy. It was baseball, man. Like, I was a casual fan, played baseball growing up, but then when you have to talk about something on a daily basis, like, you better know what you're talking about. And I had to dive in big time into baseball, learning all about the different pitches and hitting strategies and some of the analytics and all that stuff, to where, now I'm comfortable talking about it on a daily basis. But in the beginning, it was a lot of work. It was cumbersome to be able to put together a thought that actually made sense.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hockey.
Yeah.
It's not
Was
soccer.
I not?
What are you falling asleep for?
I played soccer. I understood soccer.
Yeah.
Just know too much about it to talk more about it.
Typically that's the case.
We're so advanced that it'd probably bore people with the.
Yeah, you're probably
schematics and
right. It's
techniques.
probably soccer.
Yeah.
Marsh. That's a good call. Yeah.
Question number 5.
And then soccer fans just say, "Stop talking about my sport." And I respect those people so much.
You do.
I want to fulfill their wish.
Then the other people get mad that you don't talk about it.
Yeah. But then when we talk about it, stop talking about my sport.
Yeah.
You guys don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
You're very respectful.
I'm incredibly respectful of those people. Yeah. But thank you for recognizing that, Marshall.
Of course. I know how much you like to talk about it, so I feel bad. From the 314, Jamie, why did the NHL, why did they move away from the home whites to the dark jerseys?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even remember when the hell that happened, because I'm thinking back in my career and I was like, okay, we wore white. I wore white in Florida, white in Detroit.
I believe it was the year
like mid-2000s.
It was the year the Lightning won the Stanley Cup against the Flames. I remember them wearing their dark uniforms.
No, it wasn't, Marshy, because I played in Detroit that year and we wore white at home. I was there. I could probably tell you.
Willing to put Carey's $5 on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not $5.
I'll bet you. We didn't wear red at home.
Marsh knows.
We just didn't. And
Jamie.
what?
Marsh knows his uniforms.
I'm okay, guys. I give up. You're right.
He played.
No, I wasn't there, Carey.
No, you played.
I wasn't there.
I'll take your point.
You know what? You're acting like a real huge Asoli here, so I hope Marsh is right. Bet him. Bet him, Marsh. Bet him, Jamie.
I'm just telling you, maybe it was different. Maybe it wasn't league wide. I don't know. But I'm just telling you that when I was in Detroit, we wore white at home. We also had an exception from the NHL to have the C on the other side of the jersey.
Yeah, you owe. You owe Marsh and I.
No, I'll never give up on this. I have pictures at home of me in white and the fans wearing white jerseys in the
It
background.
might have been a different year there, Jamie, but you're wrong.
I was there in 2002, starting then.
This is 2003, 2004.
Nailed it.
Lightning wearing their black uniforms.
I'm telling you, we didn't wear red at home.
We were talking about 90s uniforms. How about the Lightning uniforms with the lightning bolts on the bottom of the jersey? You remember those?
Yeah, I like those. That's not bad.
Remember those?
Yep, I do. I'm glad that you changed the subject, because Jamie was getting kind of ticked off because he was wrong on the whole jersey thing.
Yeah, the NHL changed league-wide to the dark home jerseys after the 2005 lockout. So teams obviously had a choice or whatever, but after 2005 lockout, it was official.
Like that.
You're wrong, I'm wrong. You're right, I'm right.
Oh, God. Next question.
Question
number 6.
Remember that one texter that
Did we
texted
get
and
through
said that we
6?
couldn't get through 6?
Yeah.
We got through 6?
Yeah, we
This
did.
is the 6th question?
You can go fast lane yourself, sucker.
From the 618, who's the best team in the NHL right now?
Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, I was sure.
Or the Carolina Hurricane.
No, not the Hurricanes. I still think the
Why
best.
did I cut off the S there?
I don't know.
Hurricane?
Anthony, I don't know why you do a lot of things the way you do it.
We were talking in the break
Winnipeg.
about how many teams don't have S's at the end of their name.
That's
Maybe you just
right.
wanted to include that.
Yeah.
So I still think it's the Florida Panthers.
You're drunk.
I mean, all of that is quite possible, but not today.
Not yet.
Jets have 32 points. Florida,
Okay, Anthony.
25.
I'm not just talking about the standings, you ding dong.
I'll talk about anything. I'll talk about anything you want. You want to talk about point differential? Winnipeg, 34. Florida, 7.
All right. Move on.
I ticked off Carey. I'll certainly
it's
tick off you.
5:30. I got no. I'm out of energy. We're done.
16 wins
I've
for
fought
Winnipeg.
for 3 hours with Carey.
12
done.
dubs for the Panthers.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. I thought it was about wins and losses. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Marshy, go
Not
ahead.
college football.
Marshy, go on to the next.
Not at
We're
all.
done here. Tease something smart, Anthony, if you're possible.
Okay. Biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost 4-2 last night to the Minnesota Wild. They'll try and get back in the win column tomorrow night as they take on the San Jose Sharks. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. With the pregame starting at 6, puck drop is at 7. We talked earlier today with Blues head coach Drew Bannister. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. And just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And that is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Time for the biggest question of the day. What do you got, Marshy?
All right, so we've been having some really good conversations as it pertains to college football. Everyone seems to be on the same page, but we get a question.
Absolutely.
Get a question from the 314. Do we see Blue Bloods start making cupcake schedules since strength of schedule supposedly no longer matters, i.e. Indiana?
No, I think there's I don't want to get it wrong, but I think there's a rule coming up in place where you have to have so many teams in your conference that you play against, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know when that takes place.
What if you're in a crap conference?
It doesn't matter. I think it does you know, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't help you. Alabama didn't gain anything from beating Mercer by 50 last weekend. Like, there was nothing on that. They could have beat them by 100. Nobody would have been like, oh, man, look, you see what Alabama did to Mercer?
I think if they beat them by 100, people would have been a little bit.
Nobody would have cared. They'd be like, Mercer stinks.
Still, though, 100, that's a lot.
That's a big number.
Okay, 75.
Like 100 to nothing?
Yeah, man. That would be more about Mercer than Alabama.
Seriously, there's a lot of possessions.
More about Mercer than Alabama. But if Mercer would have beaten Alabama, that's the story of the year. So again, I don't think teams will schedule cupcakes. One, I don't think that they can. Two, I don't think it benefits you to schedule teams that don't matter. Yeah. I think beating the teams in your conference, whether they're ranked or not, matters. And if you lose to those teams, that says something about you.
Plus, the schedule is done how many years in advance,
like
too?
3, 4, 5, 6,
so it's a little hard to predict that. You know, if you think back like 3 years ago, did anybody think Indiana would be the number 5 team in the nation?
And you don't have, and that's the other thing. Like 3 years ago, when this schedule was created, you didn't know what Michigan wouldn't be ranked. You didn't know Michigan State wouldn't be ranked. You didn't know, like, that's happened over time. Like it's not like, oh, they got a soft schedule. They scheduled. Yeah. They didn't go into the season and say, yeah, Michigan's going to stink. Let me put them on the schedule this year. You don't know. These schedules are planned years in advance. So it's fortunate for them that Michigan is having a down year, that Michigan State is having a down year, but it's not something that they were planning or expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you do to get over the schedule situation unless you just eliminate conferences. And everybody that is in like the college football playoff, you have to have a certain strength of schedule. But again, these are done so far in advance. It's a little tough.
Yeah.
This is why you have a committee.
Yeah, to make these decisions.
Yeah, this is why there are people that are arguing around a table, trying to figure out who the top 12 teams are, so you can eliminate some of the issues that you do have in conferences.
So I could be completely wrong on this, but I believe the ACHA.
What?
Jamie likes it meat locker status.
It's freezing in here, sir. By the time
that's not going to do anything.
By the time it goes up.
Guys, sorry, I made an effort.
Try harder, Jamie.
So I believe the ACHA, the way they rank is based on like point differential. I wonder if the playoff committee does something similar to that, where they if you beat a certain team, like it's strictly based off of like point differential on. So if you beat a team by like 13 instead of beating them by 34, like you're going to be docked points because you didn't beat that team wherever they were located in the rankings.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's a mathematical equation that goes into it.
Right. And then you got teams trying to run up the score and stuff like we used to have. I don't know. I don't think there is a perfect answer here. I really don't, because a lot of this is subjective. It's the committee going off the eye test. Depending on what time you face a team in a schedule, that matters too.
Are they dealing with injuries?
Exactly. Have they gotten better?
Yeah.
UCLA is one of those teams that have kind of slowly gotten better throughout the year. Now they're not a good team, but if you faced them 2 weeks ago compared to at the start of the year, it's a little bit different.
Right.
You know, when you faced Florida State last year when they're down to their third string quarterback, it's a little different win than it was in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
So. Again, I think this is all subjective. It gets a little tough.
We did get a good text from a 314. What if, and hear me out now, what if we get a computer program that will take everything into account and rank the teams fairly using their on-field accomplishment?
We've been there, done that.
It's not a bad idea, guys.
I like
the computer.
I think it's actually terrible.
You could name it like BCS or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
ridiculous.
The Bowl Championship Series.
Yeah.
The Bowl Computer Simulator, something like that. Yeah, it's a good call on that. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got at the board. We've got 3 stars of the day. We've got criticisms and compliments all coming up next. missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or the Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobstein Auto Centers.
That was
Marshy.
A little delayed.
Yeah, a little delayed there, pal.
Sorry, the Canadian Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Hey, dial-up's not a bad thing, okay?
All right, it's time to bet the board. Marsh, what are our latest standings?
All right, Anthony, you're one behind me of 8. Jamie has 5. Carey has 5. And like I said, I'm at 9.
How many days we got left? About a week?
Yeah.
A week's worth?
Ish.
We have 3 days left, Carey. You should get your... Oh, wait, you already did your parlay.
No, I'm not. I understand.
You already did your PD parlay.
How'd that go?
Oh, wow.
Me? I forget.
I didn't get it.
Oh.
You know he didn't get it.
You know I didn't get it. Heck.
All right, give me the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 12.5 alternate spread at minus 150.
I was about to say, that's not the current spread. Because I looked at the Cleveland Cavaliers, my Cleveland Cavaliers, after last night. But ultimately, I've decided to go with the Carolina Hurricanes team total over 3.5 goals, which is currently minus 122.
All right.
It's the against the Flyers. Carolina, by the way, they've scored at least 4 goals in every game this year except for 1. So,
good job, Anthony.
Give me the team total there. I don't like the way you're mocking me or saying that in a mocking tone.
Well, I was encouraging you. Okay. How you heard it is not my fault.
I got a point there.
Honestly, that's kind of healthy. Yeah, good call.
Is it me or you? I've been losing.
Go ahead, Carey. You've had a bad day.
Yeah, I've had a rough day. You guys trying to freeze me out in here.
That's Jamie.
Yeah, I know. It's been him all day.
Guy's a jerk. What can I tell you?
Give me Buddy Hield.
That's your guy.
19.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 118.
All right, give me the Nashville Predators over the Seattle Kraken on the money line. It's minus 142 right now.
All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
Oh, we got a lot. Okay, from the 618, let's be honest, the Blues play a very boring kind of game. The most interesting thing night in and night out is which tie Jamie chooses to wear on the broadcast.
All right.
Yeah.
I just got a new suit, a couple new blazers, like 4 or 5 new ties, so keep your eyes open, folks.
You're ready to roll.
Yep.
Got a message from Frick James in the Snake Pit. My car goes choo-choo when I honk. It's okay. You must have a Tesla.
Yep. My Tesla does make some sounds if you bump into it. It'll...
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to test that out.
You try it out. It'll take a nice picture of you.
I'm going to take a nice running start.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
I've often thought about knowing that Carey's got like the cameras and stuff going up to his car and just
do you got
do a
cameras?
little dance. Oh,
Where are the cameras?
All over.
All over.
Where are those?
All over, literally.
Oh, no.
It is.
Curious.
Everywhere.
He saw it.
Oh, boy.
Just wait till he sees it.
Need to go back and look at it.
What is that?
What are you doing? This guy.
From the 314, Stalter.
Yes, sir.
Not with the fumble today. He was hilarious getting Jamie and CD riled up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you very much.
I like it when we go after it. Good job, Jamie.
He doesn't.
From the 314, you guys got me through a fast lane busy day at work today with the energy. Got me pumped with the back and forth bickering. And I don't know if it's a good or bad thing to go home to my wife and kids feeling this way. Love the show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
If you got good energy and you feel like you've had a good day because of the fast lane, it's always a great thing to go home to the wife and kids.
No doubt. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
From the 314, so it's the St. Louis Blues, not the blue. Blues is a reference to music, not color. Therefore, red can be on a jersey, and I love the 90s jersey.
I told you.
You would never say that color is blues. LOL.
Yeah, I Went over that.
Got a point.
I talked about the double entendre.
Yes.
I talked about the double meaning in my argument.
You know the stripes on the jersey? You could say those represent the lines on a music sheet.
What do they call those lines?
Say that.
Well, I only took 1 year of music. I think they're just musical lines, are they not?
No, they have a name.
Do they?
I don't know what they're.
I don't either. The only thing I know is the treble clef, and I think that's the first thing that you see.
Yeah. It's called music sheet line graph.
Music sheet linograph.
We're at that point of the day.
Yes, we are. I wasn't even trying with that one.
No, you tried, but then you didn't. You know?
I really didn't.
Yeah.
From the 314, you guys are asses. I'm walking through the gym humming, here we go.
Steelers,
here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Hey, listen, if they make it to the Super Bowl, you all are going to be sick of that.
So I want a deal right now, okay? If the Pittsburgh Steelers get to the Super Bowl, the bye week, you and Marshy are making a music video. You're making a music video.
Unless they're playing the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
Okay, then CD's making a music video. We'll get Moon to come help him, okay? And we'll have original music, and you do your version of Here We Go.
Let's do it.
Carey Davis in full Pittsburgh Steelers gear, just like Russell Wilson when he's inactive.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. The third star of the day goes out to the word fallacy.
Fallacy.
Boy,
That was in week 1. Week 1.
You're right.
Segment
week 1.
Week 1.
It feels like crap.
Honestly, I was thinking, when you said Russell Wilson being in uniform, it was week 1. I was thinking about that, and then it
stuck on it.
Yeah, it spilled right out.
Okay. Second star of the day goes to Maction.
Yes.
I don't know who's watching.
Don't forget 6:15 special Maction thoughts.
First star of the day goes out to Locomotive.
That's right.
Get a Landau Chevrolet, get yourself a locomotive, folks.
Reminds me of the Sunny D. Sunny D.
Sunny D. All right, that'll do it for us. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. We will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Don't forget, Blues Instant Replay now. See you.